All right, let's go, friends. It is 7 minutes after 3 o'clock this Monday, January 26th, so 2026. Happy to have you with us on episode 964 of our gatherings together on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You can find us on a lot of different places. Obviously, your radio dial, especially for those of you without power. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll try to make it worth your while by giving you some valuable information this afternoon regarding the winter storm that has descended all across Middle Tennessee. You can also find us on TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart, our own app, Supertalk 99.7 WTN. And, of course, for those of you with power or maybe without and you're just utilizing your telephone or whatnot, there's always Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. You may watch the proceedings in real time as you enjoy the wintry weather. Hopefully you're enjoying it and you're not in harm's way. We're going to talk about all of that, break it down this afternoon as we do from 3 until 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis did a great job this morning. Chris Hand from Southern Command in Murfreesboro did a fine job. Chad Benson from here in the studios just off of Music Row. We're on the dead end of Music Row right now as we broadcast from our studios in downtown Nashville. We are joined by the one and only, the intrepid, the soon-to-be erstwhile producer of this radio broadcast. That would be Jackson Williams. I think your erstwhileness is a little bit further down the road now that you've gotten in. I'm very proud of Jackson for braving the weather conditions and getting in studio with us, and we welcome him. He's the one that screens your telephone calls. And we're going to take a lot of those this afternoon intermingled with guests that are going to be giving us valuable information about what's going on in our neck of the woods. Obviously, we are aware of the situation happening in Minnesota. We're going to talk about that in Minneapolis. We will discuss the telephone conversation that apparently went down between Governor Tim Walz and President Donald J. Trump. Tom Homan is on the case, and he's getting to Minnesota to try to cool things down and to make sure that expectations are met on one side, on all sides, right? The expectations of the protesters and what they can and cannot do versus the expectations of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Anyway, Jackson Williams, I was talking with you and making sure that you were A-OK. What's going on, brother?
Hey, buddy.
How you?
I'm good. Got to work.
You did. We're going to talk about that in a second after we welcome in from the Breakfast to Nook, Ken Weaver, who joins us from Southern Command in Murfreesboro as he gathers headlines in the Breakfast Nook, delivers them twice an hour, and when it breaks. Weaver, what's going on, brother?
How about you boys?
Where you at, Weaver?
I like that. Southern Command.
That's right. That's right.
Weaver in the Southern Command.
Learned that one from El Rushbo. Remember that? He would talk about Southern Command before he permanently moved down to Florida. So I thought Ken Weaver's in Southern Command, along with Chris Hand. Y'all are both kind of Southern Command right now.
Maybe that'll come with a whistle and a hat.
You know what? I can almost guarantee that it will now because I got a whistle and I got a hat, and I'm not using them. All right, I want to go around the room to begin with. I want to table set what we're going to do. We've got Mayor Freddie O'Connell coming up at 3:35 to give us a laydown on what's happening within the city. We have a call out to the governor, and we are hoping that Governor Bill Lee will be joining us at some point this afternoon. They're trying to fit that into their schedule. It will either be today or tomorrow to tell us what's coming out of the governor's administration with regard to helping us get over this wintry storm. Brent Baker is with the Nashville Electric Service, NES. Is that right? Am I saying that right? Brent Baker will be at 5:05 this afternoon. Dan Thomas of WSMV Channel 4 will be at 4:05 this afternoon. And who's with TDOT?
I need to look at that email again.
TDOT is coming up at 4:35 this afternoon. So we're loaded down with individuals that can provide information. But before we go into any of that, I want to go around the room and just ask about your experiences. Ken, what was it like down there in Murfreesboro? How'd you guys fare?
Fortunately, we fared okay. We did not lose power at any time. It's very cold, but we have heat, and I'm very thankful for that because I know so many of you out there do not. And my prayers are with you. I cannot imagine what that is like, sitting in this type of cold without any power for your homes. So I really have nothing to complain about. The lovely fluffy snow turned into ice really fast here.
Yep.
I don't think people had an opportunity to really get out and enjoy sledding like they usually do whenever it snows here in Murfreesboro, because that sleet and that freezing rain came so fast, and it just was relentless. It would not stop, it seemed.
No, same experience over in Mount Pleasant. I guess I'm a part of Southern Command, and now that I think about it, but
You are.
It was the same storyline over there. Nice fluffy snow. We get about an inch of the stuff, and then it tapers off, and then here comes the ice, and then the dreaded freezing rain, which just coated all of the tree limbs. I did not realize how many trees I had on Murphy-Lago.
You don't have them anymore.
I don't have a lot of the limbs. I tell you what, there are a couple of trees that just got beat up with the droopy limbs and whatnot. Some of those evergreen trees, and I'm just thankful that none hit the house like you can. We lost power for about 2 hours Sunday morning, and I guess that was yesterday morning. We woke up, and I woke up at about, I don't know. I wake up late, so I woke up at like 7:15, and power was out. And then about 9:30, power comes back on. I noticed that around that time, I noticed that there was a line down in the front yard where a tree had hit the line and it had kind of ripped it off. It had knocked some clamps off the house, but the line was still attached to the house, but it was drooping across the road, right? And so I'm like, well, I don't think that's electrical. And I saw what I thought was the actual electrical line that was still up and still attached as it had been. And I'm like, okay, well, that bodes well. Well, about 40 minutes later, all of our internet service goes out, but the power's back. Well, that's good news. And look, if I had to trade one for the other, obviously I'm taking power with heat over internet any day of the week. Well, it turns out, I think what happened, I think that was our line for internet connection in Mount Pleasant, and the officials came out and they took the swiftest course of action to get the roadway back open again, and that involved just cutting that line and laying it in my front yard. So I will not be out. I'll be out internet for a while, but you got power, you got heat, and I'm thinking of the almost 200,000 of you that do not. And we're here for you, and that's primarily what we're going to talk about today is how we can foresee getting your power back as soon as possible. You, Jackson, your situation, you lost power for a good while, didn't you?
We lost power for about 5 hours. It started. What time did I text you? I texted you. The lights went out because me and you were texting back and forth all day yesterday, and so I texted you right when my power went out, probably about 2 o'clock, right as the AFC Championship game was getting ready. They cut to a commercial break. They were like, kickoff is next. I'm sitting there watching.
And you're like, all right, get my mind off this nasty weather. Here comes some football.
And then just like, we got through about 3 commercials because, they needed that ad revenue. And then right as they were getting ready to come back, the power went out.
Man.
I had no internet, so I had the opportunity to test out how good my phone was in streaming YouTube TV. So I watched/listened to both the NFC and AFC Championship games on my phone. But you know what? Modern technology is pretty cool, fellas. I mean, say what you will. Information, availability, getting it out to the folks. We do have a couple of sad stories to report. This has been a killer, sadly. There have been several deaths reported across the Southeast and specifically in Tennessee as a result of the wintry storms for a variety of reasons. And we'll share some of that with you as the afternoon goes on. Ken, anything else on your end that needs to get out there? I know you've been reporting. Thank you, by the way. I wanted to thank you on the beginning of the show because were it not for you, I might have tried to go 65 all the way into the station. But I happened to be listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And our own Ken Weaver, who related to me that 65 northbound was a shutdown and remains shut down, does it not?
Yes, sir. It is still shut down because that truck crashed into that big old T-dot sign, brought it down onto the interstate. So they're diverting people off at Harding Place. 40
had just opened back up when I was driving in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 40 had I believe a jackknifed tractor trailer.
Oh man. Well,
Yeah.
I'll say this. I was going to tell you fellows that the most treacherous part of getting from Mount Pleasant to downtown Nashville was getting out of my driveway, which it was pretty treacherous because it had no vehicles on it, no salt on it, and it was pretty steep. And outside of that, driving out of the city, fine. Getting on 43, fine. Getting on the interstate, fine. No, Saturn Parkway was great. The roadways looked fabulous. But then, as I'm listening to Ken Weaver relate this I-65 northbound situation, I get off on Old Hickory Boulevard. That's 254 in Brentwood, and take a right. And what I'm planning on doing is going over to Nolensville Pike and shooting up Nolensville Pike.
Yeah.
I get over to Nolensville Pike, and people are insane.
Yes, sir.
One, I mean, is it asking too much that y'all understand that when a red light's out, that you treat that as a four-way stop? Is that asking too much for people?
Yes, it is here in the mid-state.
That means go, boys.
If I don't see no red light, that means it's green. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because what would happen, because you got those double lanes, and you would get to a major intersection, and people would pull up to the double lane, and then other people would go, and when like two people who were already there would go, then the 2 or 3 cars behind them would just go. Because, they're the only human beings on planet Earth, and we should all cater to them.
Right. They're the only ones who matter.
Right. And I'm like, that's what starts a wreck. That's what starts a chain reaction, is that type of activity. But there was that, and then I was amused once I got over to Nolensville Pike. That is a 4-lane, 2 going one way, 2 going the other way, and then the center lane is for turning. And the 4 lanes, the travel lanes were relatively fine. The turn lane was a sheet of ice. And I was very amused watching people in front of me, 100, 200 yards in front of me, because we're going at, 35 miles an hour or so, which is, a pretty fair clip in these conditions. And the people would be going 35 miles an hour. They turn their blinker on, and I'm like, oh, here it comes. And then they would slide over to that center lane and just keep right on sliding, baby. I'm like,
Yes, sir.
Don't y'all know?
That's what does it.
Don't y'all know when y'all hit that ice, man, what's going to happen? Come on now.
See, that's the whole thing about driving in something like this. It's like I'm not worried about myself. It's the other drivers that you got to be careful of. And that's what worries me about driving in this.
Well, that's right. I mean, and just please, for the love, keep a safe distance, to Ken's point, from other people. If someone hits a patch of ice and they can't control their vehicle, what are you going to do if you're tailgating them? And I promise you, it will be there when you get there. I mean,
yes, sir.
You have to be aware and slow down in these conditions. But, some people try to lead foot it, sadly. I got a 4-wheel drive, Murphy. I'll take care. Okay, fine. You take that. All 4 wheels hit a bunch of ice, and let's see what that 4-wheel drive gets you.
All right.
Well, we'll break it down for you all afternoon long. Ken Weaver's at Southern Command. Jackson Williams is behind the glass. I've impressed and begged upon Brian Wilson over in Watertown to give us a Watertown report. He's going to do that.
Yeah.
Tell Mr. Wilson like right after the mayor. Mayor's got about 10 minutes, like 3:45, 3:50, somewhere along in there. I'll alert him to that. The mayor's coming up in just a few minutes. Give us a rundown on what he sees from his vantage point in the mayor's office. That's Freddie O'Connell. Looking for the governor this afternoon. Hopefully he'll be able to check in with us. And most importantly, your calls. We depend so much on you. Your eyes and your ears. What do you see? What is dangerous to folks in your neck of the woods? If you've got a report that you believe is worthwhile of a 100,000-watt radio station, let's get them in here. 615-737-9986. 615-737-WWTN. It's the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk.
Got broken pipes.
Hello. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. Grace Point Healthcare is your one-stop shop for all things medical services when it comes to your health, your family. I encourage you to contact Grace Point Healthcare. Grace Point Healthcare truly is a different type of medical provider. They're affordable, they're convenient, they're comprehensive medicine in a direct pay format. That means you pay Grace Point, and then you can file with your insurance company for reimbursement, which is the way that it ought to be, frankly, friends, because that prevents the insurance company from getting in the way between you and the provider itself. There's no long wait time at Grace Point. Obviously, as your primary care provider, they're going to be able to treat you same day or next day most often, and that's even for brand new patients. It is cold and flu season, and that comes with weeks in delays in some shops. Not so at Grace Point. They even do house calls. How about that? That's old school. House calls if you're feeling too bad to leave your home. Grace Point Healthcare is located in the heart of Franklin. I encourage you, wherever you are, to make them your primary care provider because they truly do it in a different way. You can afford exceptional medicine at your convenience. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way at Grace Point.
Progress is being made on the power outages. We'll update you on that and other top stories coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy and you, Matt Murphy Show. A road report coming up from Drew 26 minutes after the hour. We'll have a Watertown report later on this hour. Mayor Freddie O'Connell will be with us at a little after the news at the bottom of the hour, 3:35, 3:37, thereabouts. Your calls and your super texts all afternoon long. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Brian writes in and says, my 2010 Toyota Corolla is just as good as a 4x4 if I have traction on ice. It ain't mountain climbing. You don't have traction on ice, Brian. You're right. If you are on a sheet of ice and you can't get your tires to track into that ice, embed in that ice, then you have as little traction as the 4x4, which is none. I'm not telling you I'm an expert. I'm not. I don't think anybody's an expert on driving on ice. If you have a sheet of ice and you can't crack into that ice and gain some sort of traction that way, then you're hosed, man. You're hosed.
Had somebody get stuck on the ramp to get in the building this morning or this afternoon.
It was a code red.
Code red.
Ken, one of our intrepid producers over on the sports side,
Ross.
Yes, sir.
young Ross. Oh, Jackson's going to go ahead and name him Ken. I was going to keep him anonymous, but
Nope.
why not?
Ross.
So
Would you like his last name, Ken?
Ross got to the station, and and apparently the gate wasn't working, and he did not notice that the other gate had been opened for everyone coming in.
Yes.
And he got himself on the entry ramp, and he was sliding on that entry ramp.
Oh.
And so he texted several of his fellow sports mates.
And me.
Did you get texted as well?
I did. He goes, are you here yet?
Did you get the code red?
I did.
So he gave it a code red, Ken, because he couldn't get the gate open. And I think rightly so, he has been getting the business because I don't think that's code red.
See, that would happen to me. That is exactly what would happen to me.
Yeah, but see, and that's fine. Look, it could happen to anybody. I'm just saying your reaction to it should not be to send out an all-call text. Code red.
I see.
Code red.
He also called.
That's not a code red. That is at most a code yellow.
Mayday! Mayday!
Right. Like, in these conditions, I think maybe a code red is, I'm in a ditch somewhere and there may be blood. That's a code red.
That's definitely
This is please come help me get my car unstuck from the very safe parking lot I'm in.
Right. With no danger of being hit by any other vehicles or anything.
No danger.
Yeah, that's not a code red.
Oh,
Chris says front wheel drive can do okay on snow, but let's see it on. Now, front wheel drive. Look, y'all, I love these types of conversations because everybody becomes an expert on driving on snow and ice. I don't pretend to be an expert. I've done it from time to time on both snow and in icy patches. If you have, there are opportunities to drive when it is icy like this, but those opportunities are very limited in terms of scope and nature. You have to have some level of traction if you're just slipping on the ice, you're just slipping on the ice. It doesn't matter whether all four wheels are trying to grab or only two. Do you have a couple of additional opportunities for grab? Sure, if you have four tires trying to do that. But if it's all ice and there's no grab, then you're just as screwed as if you would be in a front-wheel drive car, and a rear-wheel drive car, and an all-wheel drive car. It's just...
That's whenever you say, Jesus, take the wheel.
That's right. And you know what you say then, Ken? Code red! Code red! Code red! Time for the news on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Complete coverage of the winter storm and what it has left us dealing with. Still hundreds of thousands of Middle Tennesseans without electricity, but I can report progress is being made. Nashville Electric Service says it is down to 160,700 outages. That's from the peak of 230,000 outages just yesterday. Middle Tennessee Electric has got below 7,000 outages. They're at 6,954. And Cumberland Electric says 16,640 members still without power, but they started the day out with more than 19,000 without power. Now, all of the utilities say it's going to take days to restore everyone's power. They're asking for your patience. In the meantime, you can check tn.gov for warming stations near you. All across the state and all 95 counties impacted by this winter storm. You can check tn.gov for warming stations near you. I can tell you that in Nashville, you can find a warming station at any fire station and most police precincts for people needing warmth. Now, they don't have beds available at those sites, and you can't spend the night, but if you need a place to get warm during the day, you can go to the fire station or most police precincts to get that. Nashville Rescue Mission locations, too, are serving men, women, and children, and they will even accommodate some pets for you, depending on the situation. In our nation's capital, a growing number of Republicans in Congress are voicing grave concerns about Saturday's shooting there in Minneapolis. At least 20 Republican members of Congress have now called for an investigation. Many have called for hearings on Capitol Hill. The chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, Republican Andrew Garabino of New York, says he expects the heads of ICE and Customs and Border Protection to testify before his panel in the coming weeks. Meanwhile, President Trump says White House border czar Tom Homan is traveling to Minnesota today. Homan to take direct control of ICE operations in the Twin Cities and report straight to the president. Again, this move follows weeks of protests and 2 fatal shootings involving federal agents and some protesters who were shot and killed. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Still got the roadblock 65 north. Portland, Tennessee. All right, still have the road blocked due to that stuck truck, 65 northbound between Harding Place and I-440. Stalled vehicle on the left shoulder, 65 northbound after Orlinda, Portland, Tennessee 52, exit 117 in Robertson County. Interstates, for the most part, look to be clear. The issue you're going to have are the on and off ramps where you have to start slowing down. And then, of course, getting to the interstate is going to be the issue because those secondary roads are still very treacherous in much of the mid-state. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. You've heard me talk about Paul Winkler. Paul Winkler, Inc., 10 offices, no commissions ever. You guys know the drill. Well, it is Back to Basics Week with Paul, particularly concerning his show this Saturday from 3 until 5 on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. There's something for everyone regarding education and experience when it comes to your finances. What are the major differences between stocks and bonds? Why do different financial people have differing opinions on what you should do? What about exchange-traded funds? What does that mean? What are mutual funds? How are they different? How many stocks do we need? And do we need to, quote-unquote, diversify? Paul has answers to all of these questions. He calls them the basics. Are you paying more than you think? Why is the management fee only the tip of the iceberg? All of these things will be answered for you this weekend from 3 until 5 on the Paul Winkler Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Obviously, you can always go to paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com. Paul Winkler and Paul Winkler, Inc. 10 offices, no commissions ever. Listen in to Super Talk 99.7 WTN this weekend. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get back to your telephone calls momentarily. Obviously, hearing from many of you in and around the surrounding areas regarding the icy conditions and the storm that descended upon Middle Tennessee. Obviously, Nashville remains affected. Power outages remain a great concern. Roadways very slippery. If you don't have to get out, don't get out. But don't let me tell you all of this. Let's talk to the mayor of Nashville. Freddie O'Connell joins us on the Murphy Show to discuss the actions being taken by the city to try to keep our citizens as safe as possible, to keep them as warm as possible. Mayor, always good to catch up with you. I hope you're doing well, sir.
Matt, great to be with you today. It is a tough set of weather circumstances we're confronting, but it is also reassuring to have so many crews of people working 24/7 to get people's power back online, to keep the roadways clear, and yes, to offer important warming locations. So that's kind of where we are. I think you and your listeners have followed the weather. Started with some snow on Saturday that became a complete coating of ice overnight on Sunday, and that's really when the real challenges started. We've had reports of, I think, now more than 800 trees down across the area, and what that means is power lines and utility poles coming down with them. In a lot of cases, I think NES has clocked more than 100 utility poles. And here's where we are. 24 hours ago, we've in that 24-hour period, we've been able to bring 70,000 people back online with power, but that's down from 230,000, which is a record for number of power outages in Nashville. So we've still got about 160,000 people to go. We have 300 line crews now working with NES with support many hands from other communities. Our National Department of Transportation has plow crews that continue to work. Primaries are in good shape. They've moved on to secondaries and hoping to hit post-secondaries as weather permits. And they've been joined by, again, a contract that allows for some capacity branch debris out of the roadways. So that's kind of a snapshot of where we are right now.
Mayor Freddie O'Connell is with us, just giving us the lay of the land when it comes to Davidson County and Nashville, Tennessee. And you mentioned the number of power outages, and I want to thank you for mentioning the crews that are working. They deserve every accolade that they get because they're busting it. They're working long hours, and their sole desire is to get people's heat back up and running. But if people do not have power, is the message just to be patient, that they're working on it? Do they need to contact anyone, Mayor, or is it just a matter of wait and they're going to get to you as soon as humanly possible?
Definitely, if you feel like maybe, we've had people go on and off. I mean, sometimes we're having these situations where they'll fix one line and a block away, another tree will fall and pull a line down.
Right.
So that's what we're still dealing with. I mean, you can look around any neighborhood right now, and just about every tree is still covered with that full coating of ice. So we do still have not as many today that I have seen or heard myself as yesterday, branches and sometimes whole trees coming down. But if you think they may not know that you have a power outage, give them a call, 615-234-0000. You can also hop on to nespower.com, and they have an online reporting tool, which if you have a hard time getting through, that's a good option if you've got internet access where you are. Otherwise, yes, be patient.
Yeah.
And then if you need urgent electricity or to warm up, right, if you can shelter in place, you've got blankets, you've got a gas fireplace, you've got those kinds of things, staying where you are is your best bet. If you need something urgently, we've got warming locations set up all around the city. Every police precinct, but central and east, and every fire station, the Fire Training Academy are all warming locations. We also have Madison Community Center, Southeast Community Center, and the Fairgrounds, which is actually set up for overnight and has some food as well. So those are all options for people.
Mayor, I'm not... what I'm about to say is going to be kind of odd because I traveled in today. But I feel like it was a necessary thing that I did to try to get as maximum information to the people in Nashville, Tennessee, and the surrounding communities. At the same time, is the message "do not travel"? I mean, I saw a lot of cars on the roadways, a lot of folks trying to get out and about, and I understand that the major roadways are pretty good. The interstates look pretty good. The major thoroughfares look pretty good. But as soon as you get off one of those side roads, the possibility exists that you could pop ice, and who knows what could happen then.
That's exactly right, Matt. I mean, I think for everybody, from that safety question and whether you can continue to shelter in place if your heat is out, it's the same way on the roadways. If you think if you're like you are, I mean, you're describing an important function of just communication. We know some people have to be at healthcare. I actually stopped by to see the World Central Kitchen has been serving up hot meals. They've got a location at the Kroger near my house, so stop by there to thank them and also pick up some groceries. And that's what I found is the core roadways looking pretty good. The moment you get off of the primaries and secondaries and deeper into neighborhoods, it can be a little rough. So if you don't have to be out and school is out, if you're allowed to work from home or you're not required to be at work, if your business is closed, any of those reasons, I know it's a Monday, it's ordinarily a work day, and I know some people have to be out. Try to stick to those primary and secondaries, and sometimes even the post-secondary routes. You can find all of the places we're scheduling our clearing of snow at nashville.gov/snow, and that's a good kind of, if you have to be on the roads, sticking to the routes that are indicated there is going to be your best bet.
And in terms of weather, I mean, it's a good news, bad news situation. The weather looks pretty good to help assist those linemen that are trying to get the power back up, to get those roadways cleaned. Bad news, it's going to stay well below freezing for the next at least 24 to 36 hours, which is, obviously not good for people without power right now.
That is the greatest challenge. And so I think right now, the top priority we're focused on is getting those linemen out there ready to get people's power back on. You're exactly right. This is much better conditions than they've had at any point over the previous 48 hours. So they've been out hard at work today, joined by crews from other locations, which is great to have that kind of mutual aid assistance from other communities. But yes, we are worried for people who are in locations that may not have heat. Tonight is going to be a very hard night because we're going to see, again, temperatures down in the teens and possibly even single digits. So it's going to be absolutely frigid temperatures. As I talk to you, I'm actually on my way over to the National Department of Transportation shift change for their plow crews. And these folks are all out there clearing debris, plowing the roads, trying to keep everybody able to get to places. We will announce this afternoon also transportation options for people who need to get to a warming location. So we do have actually a police, fire, and medical standby option for people that need to get out of their homes but may not feel safe or be able to get on the roadways in their own vehicles.
And you'll be announcing that a little bit later on, Mayor?
Yeah, but
okay.
We'll make sure to get you that information.
Yeah, please do. Please do. And otherwise, I mean, is it an encouragement on the part of the mayor's office to, obviously 911 is available, but considering the nature of what we're going through, I would expect that those a little strained in terms of being able to communicate. Only when absolutely necessary should we call 911. Correct?
You're exactly right. For now and generally, 911 is our main option for life-threatening emergencies. If you've got a power line that is actually arcing, or you've got fire conditions, you've got a medical emergency, there is something truly life-threatening, continue to use 911 for that. If you've just got, like we had in our alley, actually, an entire tree fell across the alley, blocked it, covered part of the sidewalk. I submitted that through Hub Nashville, which for those things that are just weather related, that are not truly emergencies, Hub Nashville continues to be a great way to report stuff. And there's an app for it. There's just hub.nashville.gov. Generally speaking, during business hours too, you can use 311. That's available also if you just need non-emergency fire or police assistance. And so keep that 911 line clear for true life-threatening emergencies, and that helps all of our Department of Emergency.
Mr. Mayor, as we finish up, anything else we need to know?
We've got information up about conditions on the ground and all the things like Metro service closures. For instance, City Hall and the courthouse were closed today. Metro Schools is closed today. Metro Action Commission is closed today. We've got a lot of people working remotely, but for instance, a lot of park facilities. Go ahead and check Nashville.gov. Check with the department or agency you need to be in touch with as you need to, because we're going to continue to, not only within local government, but I think with businesses, it's better to check ahead of time, especially before you get on the road in conditions like this. Otherwise, just make the best choices you can to stay safe, look after one another. Know that this city has people working around the clock in just about every different way. First responders, plow crews, line folks, trying to get power back on, keep roads clear, and get to people where they can.
We appreciate you. Freddie O'Connell joining us for a few good minutes. Thank you, Freddie, and let us know regarding the services that will be announced a little bit later on, okay?
Great. Matt, thank you so much. Talk to you later.
Take care. There's Mayor Freddie O'Connell joining us for a few moments, just giving his perspective on everything that we see. He gave us that info, 230,000 households without power at our peak. They've gotten power back on for 70,000 customers, so we're currently at about 160,000 customers out. We will check in with the Nashville Electric Service and Brent Baker a little bit later on today. Let's go ahead and go to Brian Wilson. I think Brian Wilson is standing by out in Watertown. We need a Watertown update, and the Watertown update desperately needs some sort of theme, but we'll figure that out later on. Brian Wilson, Joe, what's going on, Brian?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, we sort of dodged a bullet here in Watertown. In eastern Wilson County, it wasn't horrible. It was, I mean, there were people who lost power, but not like in western Wilson County and all. I got out yesterday in my little ATV and drove around Watertown and, had no problem at all getting around. The way this works, Matt, is that your neighborhood streets are probably going to be the worst ones. But when you get to a major thoroughfare, what we call a primary road, it's not bad. Now, that I want to put in a word of caution. it will melt and freeze and melt and freeze, and you can still hit that black ice anywhere. But we are able to move around here, and we got through it without losing any power whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, similar story down south. I don't know. I'm thinking about my friends over in Mount Juliet and a little bit toward Nashville, away from you in Wilson County, and how they're faring. But no, true. I mean, you lose power a little bit. Several folks lose power, but then it pops back on. And I agree with you. The biggest problem that I experienced, Brian, when traveling about on those bigger roads, some of the lights were out, and folks don't seem to understand. I mean, God love them. I mean, I appreciate each and every one of you, but if you don't understand, it's a four-way stop if the lights are out.
Well, drivers in Middle Tennessee, it's like the Wild West here on a good day. So, yeah. What is the real speed limit? I haven't quite figured that out yet.
That's right. Well, I just needed to get in a brief Watertown report from over in Wilson County to make sure everything was battened down over there, and to thank you and lovely Cabana wife publicly, because you were offering us, initially it was a nice home warming gift of food during our move, but that has become delicious leftovers during the ice storm.
Yeah,
and I
you
just
go.
want to publicly tell you, I do not understand, Brian Wilson, how you're not 400 pounds.
Well, I listen, before I went on a diet, I got up there about 325. It was bad for a while. Cabana wife puts on a good table, and I've been eating pretty well for a good time. But yeah, listen, we're happy to do that. Just one thought, and that is, remember that with these power lines, there's some low hanging fruit. And they get to that pretty quick. If they can get you back up without too much trouble, they'll try to get you back up. But at some point, they have to go and rebuild the major power lines first. It's sort of like the road crews. They get the major roads first, and then they start working back into the neighborhoods. And so, it's going to be a few days. And I really hope that people have took seriously all of these warnings about making sure they had a way to stay warm, because there's a lot of people who are going to be without electricity for a couple of more days probably.
No, you're right, and that's what we're here for, and that's what I encourage people to do. If you find yourself in a bad way, neighbors helping neighbors is always the way to go, and we try to be a conduit for all of that, and we're going to discuss that here in just the next couple of minutes. Well, you guys stay warm over in Watertown, and if there's anything to report, just let us know, my friend.
I will do.
All right, take care. There's Brian Wilson, 54 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Office is closed today, but available for you every single day in 3 separate locations when open, obviously, and not icy conditions. That would be the Tennessee Men's Clinic. The Tennessee Men's Clinic are so good at what they do. They focus in on men's health, and even more so, they focus in on men's health of a sexual nature. Now, look, I understand that this is an odd conversation to publicly have on a radio station. At the same time, I also understand how desperately some men need to hear it. It's 2026, fellas. It's not 1976. You don't have to accept that at some point that part of your romantic relationship or that part of your life is over. You can get back in the game with proven and tested technology and medical expertise with the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Go to the urologists that are qualified in helping analyze your situation and figure out the direct path for you to get back into the game. Give them a call at 615-208-9090, 615-208-9090, or online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Cool Springs, Midtown, and now in Clarksville, it's Tennessee Men's Clinic.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and progress is being made on the power outages that this winter storm has left here in Middle Tennessee. NES now reporting 156,767 outages. That is down from the peak of 230,000. Mayor Freddie O'Connell came on the air to give us an update on efforts to restore everyone's power, and he told WTN's Matt Murphy show that as many as 300 line crews are currently helping NES to restore your power, but they have 800 trees that have fallen and has damaged as many as 100 poles. So it is still a slog just to get this done, and officials say it will still be days before everyone's power is restored. Checking some of the other major outages in the area, according to Middle Tennessee Electric, they are down now to 6,781 outages. Most of those are going to be over in the Williamson County area. And Cumberland Electricity down to 17,134 outages. Whenever I came on the air today at 11 o'clock, Cumberland Electric was reporting 19,000 plus outages in their area. So progress is being made, albeit very slow. And the temperatures just are not relenting. We have places where you can go. According to Mayor Freddie O'Connell in Nashville, emergency shelters operating around the clock if you need to get somewhere warm. The Nashville Rescue Mission is providing overnight accommodations, while fire stations and police precincts are open as warming centers. Anyone needing transportation can call Mobility Solutions at 615-844-3399. Mayor O'Connell also says the Madison Community Center is a warming area, and the fairgrounds is being used for that too. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino and some agents are now expected to leave Minneapolis as soon as tomorrow. This comes after another deadly shooting of a protester there in Minneapolis, and Republicans on Capitol Hill becoming increasingly uncomfortable with what is going on the ground there. More than 20 GOP members of Congress have called for an investigation. Some want hearings held in Washington. House Homeland Security Chairman Andrew Garabino of New York says leaders of ICE and Customs and Border Protection are expected to appear before his committee. Meanwhile, President Trump announced today he is sending border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota. Homan will manage ICE operations on the ground amid protests and legal challenges to the federal enforcement efforts there. Again, this follows the two deadly agent-involved shootings there with protesters since ICE operations began there in Minneapolis. Worried about your health? Well, maybe you want to cut down on alcohol after this new study in the journal Cancer finds drinking alcohol over many years raises the risk of colorectal cancer. Researchers tracking nearly 88,000 adults and found heavier drinkers faced significantly higher odds of developing the disease. Those who averaged at least 14 drinks a week had a 24% higher risk of colon cancer and nearly double the risk of rectal cancer. Doctors stressing the disease is highly treatable if caught early, yet fewer than 70% of eligible adults ever get screened. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, road still blocked, 65 northbound between Harding Place and I-440. You cannot get through there because of that tractor trailer that jackknifed this morning and took down the overhead TDOT sign. In Robertson County, still showing a stalled vehicle off on the left shoulder, 65 northbound after Orlinda, Portland, Tennessee, 52, exit 117. Interstates, for the most part, are clear, drivable. However, it is when you get off onto these secondary roads and into the neighborhoods where it gets treacherous, and it will be until road crews are able to get to those areas. I'm Ken Weaver.
It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. We are here live this Monday, Jan 26th. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. It is episode 964 of our gatherings. It's a winter wonderland. Hopefully, you're staying indoors. Hopefully, you've got power. Hopefully, you've got some heat. If not, we're here for you. Just let us know what we can do for you. That's what it's all about, friends. Neighbors helping neighbors via a 100,000-watt radio station. I've got some neighbors that we need to help coming up in just a couple of minutes. And I'm looking here on my phone lines. And as I'm looking on my phone lines, I'm also looking at Monitor B. And it reminds me of a conversation that the gentleman that we're going to talk to next and I had last week and some years ago. Because right here on WSMV Channel 4, I'm looking at a report. Will the sun help melt some of this ice? Well, I don't know if that's possible when it's only 20 degrees outside, but I know somebody that does. His name is Dan Thomas. He is our weather man extraordinaire with WSMV Channel 4, and he joins us to kind of give us a post-mortem of what has been and what we can expect. Dan, I hope all is safe and warm with you.
You know, Matt, thank you so much. We're doing fine. You know, the power flickered a little bit, but we're one of the fortunate ones who never really lost it. So going to and from work has been a little hairy, but we've made it through. And I just feel for the masses who still don't have power, it's going to be a little while for some of you. And just hang in there. And it was just good to hear what you said at the top of the show, or the top of the segment, that just says, hey, we're going to do everything we can to help you through that. And as you said, it's neighbors helping neighbors. If you've got somebody next door and you're without power, and you know they are as well, and maybe they're elderly, maybe they have a fireplace, who knows? They could be running out of fuel. They could be running out of wood, something that basic. And so just think about the people in your circle, in your church group, whatever it is, and how can you help them? The roads are really starting to change, at least where we've had some sun. And so some people are starting to get out, even though it's not the best idea. If you've got somebody to help, they're worth helping. So,
I mean, obviously, you know, you and I talked about, and I joked with you last week about sublimation, but that's real. That's a reality today, right?
Sublimation today, yeah, but just that's a very gradual process.
It's a small, that takes a long time.
A very long time. So what we really have going on today is, I peeked out my window this morning, and I said, yep, the main road looks like it did last night. And then when I went to work, half of it was blacktop, so asphalt. So the roads that had the treatment, and of course these are, asphalt roads, so they're dark. When they have the brine and then they have the sunshine hit them, and the sunshine, it's getting stronger. It's not super strong, but here we are, more than a month past the winter solstice. So we have a strength of sunshine that's about as strong as mid-November. That's not great. It's not super strong, but it makes a difference on dark surfaces. And so despite the fact that it is about 20 outdoors in the sun, you'll see some melting taking place, especially when we have that road product. So main roads improving quite a bit. The traffic helps. There's not much traffic, but a little bit. And then once the sun goes down tonight, all that stops and it all becomes a sheet of ice again. So please be careful. And if you can, just stay indoors.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the best course of action is to stay inside. And I love the advice that you offered there, Dan. If you have a neighbor, I mean, especially if, on your side of the street, for whatever reason, there's electricity and you know of a place near you that doesn't have any, just, check on your friends and your neighbors and make sure that they're safe and sound and reach out a hand of friendship to them or a neighborly hand to them, because that's what it's all about in Middle Tennessee, as we well know. So just give us the sense of what we can expect over the next several days. I mean, obviously, stay in as you can, only in a very serious or emergency-based situation should you be getting out, especially after nightfall. I mean, I've got to drive back home in it, but, these are on major roadways, so I feel pretty comfortable with that. But what can we expect? And, give us some hope that we will get above freezing at some point this week, Dan.
Here's the deal. I just got to work an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. And so my first thing was to make a new forecast. So I looked at new data. I looked at where we're at today. I'm forecasting 34 tomorrow. 34 for the high after a low temperature about 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning tonight of 5 degrees. So sheet of ice tonight, sheet of ice tomorrow morning. Little wind chill problem, especially tomorrow morning as the southwest wind develops. But that southwest wind will be our friend tomorrow afternoon and get us above freezing. I see tremendous melting taking place for a tight window tomorrow. And so that's going to help some of these trees bounce back. But it brings a new element of danger to the equation, and that is falling massive chunks of ice. And so we got to watch out for that. If you've got little ones, keep them away from trees at all costs. If you park somewhere, you're parking in the parking lot. If you have to go to work like Matt or me, stay away from trees, because again, there'll be gobs of ice falling to the ground and you don't want it hitting your property or you. And so just something to think about. But I think some of these trees will start to bounce back. And we may see a new round of power outages as some of the trees that have been stressed are again reshaping and interfering with some lines. But I see a lot more progress tomorrow by the road crews. Since we're getting above freezing, I see a lot more road improvement tomorrow. But the shaded areas, they will be the slowest to improve. And so we'll just all have to be patient as the forecast sort of dictates what's going to happen through the rest of the week. So 34 tomorrow, 33 Wednesday, freezing Thursday for the high temperature, and then back to the upper 20s Friday, Saturday. So getting into tomorrow afternoon is our best window for some melting. I think we have a bunch of melting still on Wednesday at 33, and the trees at least. And then once we get to the weekend, again, it's just going to be a chilly go of it out there.
I mean, no, what you just said right at the end there is such good news to so many people. I mean, for those of us that listen to the boughs breaking, if you will, the tree limbs coming down in and around your yard, and you're just, I know I was among these numbers because I'm in a new place, and I'm like, I just hope one of these doesn't fall on the house. Thank goodness that did not happen. For some, it did. But get those icy conditions off the trees, and that's going to alleviate a little bit of stress and pressure on the folks,
Yeah, and not just all of this, but when we get the melting, you got to be aware of, okay, where's this water going to go? And so if you're able to get out and about tomorrow in the yard at least, think about where your drains are, whether they're on the street, that take on the water. Make sure those are clear. Make sure the water can pass to those. And take a look at your gutters. Make sure that the bottom is not all blocked up and would limit water from coming off the roof down the downspout, because you don't want it stuck in there at night, then it freezes, and then you've got just a weight problem with all that water hanging out in the gutter. So make sure the water, once it starts to melt, can move and get out of the area.
It's great advice, Dan. Anything else we need to know before we let you go?
Oh, let's think. We are watching a storm system over the weekend. Right now, it looks to pass down into the Gulf of Mexico and then out to sea.
Okay.
But these are the ones we have to watch. So right now, that storm could give some snow to the Smoky Mountains, and so it's safe enough away from us. But if things change a little bit in the next couple of days, it could throw some snow back into the mid-state. Hopefully that doesn't happen. but that's just something we're watching. So just don't go to sleep on the forecast. Make sure you check back with us at WSMP4 for updates throughout the rest of the week.
You've been a lifeline to a lot of folks this week, and always when the weather conditions merit it. And we appreciate you spending time with us as you have on a daily basis too, Dan. Thank you, and we'll check in with you again.
You're welcome, Matt. Take care.
Take care. There's Dan Thomas, WSMV Channel 4, providing some really good information regarding the weather. So 34 tomorrow, 33 Wednesday. That's good news. Not high enough, but it's good news. Hopefully alleviating some of the pressure on some of the trees that we have over a lot of property. Obviously, many of you have experienced down limbs, as we have down in Mount Pleasant. Look, I'm just hopeful that it doesn't hit your house and doesn't cause any additional issues. Now, we're getting a lot of folks on the super text line asking for advice and asking for help. And I mean it when I say that we provide a conduit where neighbors can help neighbors. And I try to do that as responsibly as I possibly can. But for those that are reaching out, I'm going to keep a list of that. And it will get crazy when I do this, Jackson. I'm just warning you. Because we have some of the most giving listeners on planet Earth that want to assist when people are in need. And so trying to connect those things can be a little bit difficult, but we're going to try to do our best. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. In the meantime, we also have, you just gave me the name and I've lost it already, Aaron Ziegler. Ziegler or Ziegler?
I believe it's Ziegler because Tennessee had a basketball player named with the same spelling.
Yeah,
and
there's the E on there. Ziegler, I would go with Ziegler. Yeah, Aaron Ziegler with the Tennessee Department of Transportation will be on with us at 4:35 this afternoon to give us kind of a roadway update. Brent Baker, I should say, with NES will be on to give us a power update at 5:05 this afternoon. And obviously, you all afternoon as well, 615-737-9986. For example, Alice has written in and said, "Hey, Matt, do you have any suggestions in regard to a downed tree that broke on one side, and now I'm scared the very large branches will fall on my home? It's my 70th birthday tomorrow." Oh, well, happy birthday. And this is your present to yourself. Well, I hate that. I have to find someone that is reasonable price-wise. I know that there are a lot of people in this position. I live alone, except for my cats. We met at the Old Hickory Golf Course. I remember you, Miss Alice. Absolutely. Have great neighbors, but they have issues as well. Just wondering if you know of anyone. Well, Alice, if you're listening, we'll try to find someone in the Old Hickory area that will offer you a reasonable price to take down that tree. She presented a photo of the tree, and there's a large branch that is down, laying across, it looks like a fence line, a little bit ways from the house. So if anybody has any advice, then we would love to hear that. And then there's one more serious situation that I want to get back to. Oh, here we go. This is Mike. Mike has left me a telephone number. And, of course, now there it goes. Mike has left me a telephone number. And I'm not going to provide this telephone number on air, but I will provide it if anyone can offer Mike assistance. And I will just read this message as written. And Mike, we love you, buddy, and we're going to try to get you some help if we can. I hope this text. Mike says, "I hope this text goes through. I need help. I live in Jolton in the middle of the woods. My driveway is about 100 yards straight down. I don't know when the power will go back on, and my firewood, I've only got about a day left, and I don't have any power. And with no power, I don't have any water. My water's running low, and I guess he has well service. I can't cut wood right now because I'm going through cancer treatment. I don't have any energy, so I expect I'll eventually need stove wood, and because of my drive, it would have to be dropped off at the top of the hill. I'm calling on you because I need help. The help I've been given is great. I have no way to get out of here to get to a warm place. You guys have a large audience, and maybe some listeners would be willing to help. If you read this, thank you. NES is doing all they can, but I know that it will take some time to get to my property. My name is Mike, and Mike has left a telephone number. Mike lives in Jolton. I don't recommend that anybody gets on the road. I don't recommend that anybody does anything that's going to endanger themselves. But I do recommend that we are the most giving and caring and loving people on planet Earth in the American South. So if y'all want to help Mike out in Jolton, just let me know. 615-737-9986. Mike says he needs a little firewood and maybe some water. What he has is running low, and he did indicate his driveway is about 100 yards, and it's the grade is pretty significant, according to Mike. So y'all tell me, 21 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, back right after this. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Thank you so much to great sponsors like Cover Nash. They do such a great job at what they do in regard to your health insurance and your needs when it comes to your health insurance. But they also give us the opportunity to provide weather coverage and other related coverage, such as today. Cover Nash, Shane Ring. They are a valuable resource in our community. Shane Ring shops every single health insurance plan on the marketplace today. He does not work for one particular company. He works for you. And friends, you don't have to believe this quote-unquote open enrollment, closed enrollment stuff. Shane Ring can help find you the right plan for you and get you into that plan right now, today. If you're self-employed, uninsured, or simply tired of paying too much, call Shane at 615-465-0023. That's 465-0023, or go to covernash.com. And when you do, not only will you find a welcoming attitude and a concierge when it comes to health care, do me a favor and thank him for being what a loyal sponsor to Super Talk 99.7 WTN he truly is. Shane Ring and Cover Nash. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Genesis Diamonds. You got some big milestones coming up in the new year, maybe an engagement, celebrating a big anniversary. Genesis Diamonds is ready for you. After a record-breaking 2025, Genesis is fully stocked for the new year with a massive selection of exquisite diamonds, designer rings, all the latest fashion jewelry, and, of course, the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches you'll find. Genesis is the go-to place for all things jewelry here in Nashville and beyond. Genesis has the highest possible standards with full transparency, price integrity, uncompromising quality, and customer service that does not come from a policy manual. It comes from the heart. Genesis Diamonds, they're not just another jewelry store. They're my jewelry store, one. They're the industry leader with unbeatable value, exclusive brand names, warranties, and guarantees that the other jewelers simply cannot offer or will not offer. Go for that memorable moment in 2026. Whatever it might be, just know. Get a Genesis and they will hook you up. Learn more at GenesisDiamonds.com. That's GenesisDiamonds.com for Genesis Diamonds.
Concerns are growing among Republicans in Congress after a second federal agent involved a shooting that ends in a fatality. We'll tell you what's going on at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, dealing with a lot of power outages. Still roughly 160,000 people, according to Mayor Freddie O'Connell, without power. We will speak to that matter coming up in about 30 minutes with someone from the Nashville Electric Service. Speaking of power, 7764 writes in and says, no power since Sunday, 5 a.m., no cell service with AT&T. Anyone else with issues, I'm out McCrory Lane, Newsom Station. We throw that out there and we see what kind of response we get. We're kind of casting lines right now. We also are very concerned about the roadways. And obviously, while some roadways are passable, others not so much. And you know how this goes, right? The natural thing is to get to the major thoroughfares first and then get to the back roads last. Well, with all of that in mind, Aaron Ziegler joins us from the Tennessee Department of Transportation to talk about the condition of the roadways, and I'm certain to give us an update on what we can expect over the next several days. Aaron, thank you for being on with the Matt Murphy Show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, just kind of give us the view from 50,000 feet where we are right now.
Absolutely. So we really made good headway today. The sun was out. We dried out a bit. Our urban interstates specifically are in pretty good shape. And when I say they're in good shape, that means at least one lane is clear. But, always a problem of icing. We have such low temperatures that we're dealing with. When it comes to state routes and our more rural interstates, that is where we are still seeing issues because, as you mentioned, it's our priority to clear those interstate spurts, those major thoroughfares, and any kind of route that leads to a medical facility. So we spent a lot of time today on those secondary state routes and also the third state routes, which are basically your triple-digit state routes, the more rural, some that may lead to your neighborhood, right? So it's important to note that while we made good headway today, there's still a lot to be done, and it's just going to get colder.
Obviously, we've watched as some of the icy conditions have created even further issues, specifically on I-65, the situation involving the 18-wheeler there. Is there any update or any information you can give on that specific situation, Aaron?
Right. So that came in, I think, around 10:30 this morning of that semi that spun, I'm not really sure what exactly happened, but it definitely spun out, it jackknifed, and it hit the gantry, what was holding those big signs.
Right.
It hit that. The signs came down. We have removed the sign completely and moved it behind the guardrail. Now we're working on moving the tractor trailer and also making sure this area is very well salted. But yeah, that caused a huge headache and another example of why folks shouldn't be on the road if they absolutely don't need to.
I mean, I guess that's the message right now. If you can hunker down, just let TDOT continue to do its work, and I'm certain that work will go on 24 hours a day until we see. We've already seen great headway. Like you say, the major interstates seem to be passable, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should take advantage of that unless you absolutely have to.
Absolutely. That's why it's so kind of a catch-22 of saying that, because we don't want people to get on the roads. We just want them to know if they have an emergency, those other essential workers, it's looking good in those urban interstates. But again, stay home. That keeps you safe, and it also keeps our workers safe, because we will have them out tonight. We have some skeleton crews out there. Some folks from our other regions came in to help, because we have a lot of guys and girls that need some rest.
Amen. And I hope you guys get the rest. Thank you for everything that you're doing at the Tennessee Department of Transportation, Aaron. What else do we need to know before we say goodbye? Because I know your time's so valuable right now. What else do we need to know to let the listeners know about?
Well, we want to thank everyone for their cooperation, because we know people probably have some cabin fever. We want to thank them. Also, if you do need to head out, we have smartway.tn.gov. It gives you real-time traffic information, traffic cameras. You can plan your route, see where the trouble spots are. I really encourage people to use that tool or dial 511 for road conditions.
Aaron, thank you so much. Let us know if there's anything that we need to get to the people, and we'll do it immediately. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, take care. There's Aaron Ziegler with the Tennessee Department of Transportation, 31 after the hour. That's good info there. All right, we're loading up the telephone lines. If you have anything that you believe folks need to know about, we're getting to your telephone calls right now. Already several of you are calling in and offering a little bit of help for Mike out in Jolton. This is not, by the way, a couple of people have already, this is not Mike from Old Hickory. Old Hickory's Old Hickory. Jolton's Jolton. So it's a different Mike. There's plenty of Mikes out there in the world. But I've got a telephone number for Mike if anybody can offer him any assistance. Look, we don't want one of our own to go without. And Mike is concerned that he is without wood and he has no power and doesn't expect in Jolton to get power back for the foreseeable future. So we're going to try to get him some help as we can. Also, Alice is wondering if there's anybody out in the Old Hickory area that might have an ability to get some limbs down. She's willing to pay, but, obviously resources are limited. So she doesn't want to, don't take advantage of her. As a matter of fact, I think we can get a brigade of chainsaw boys out there, take care of that tree at no cost. I would hope that we could do that. I don't want to get anybody in harm's way. So I don't recommend, I just want to be real clear. I'm just throwing information out there on the table. I know how you guys are, and I know that while we say if you don't have to get out, don't get out, well, there are some circumstances that in these local communities, if you have an ability, you can go and you can help a neighbor. We're doing those two things simultaneously. We're telling you that you can help your neighbors in your local community, and at the same time telling you not to get out on the roadways. Yeah, I know. 32 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and the work continues to restore everyone's power, and progress is being made slowly, but it is progress nonetheless. Right now, Nashville Electric Service reporting that since a peak outage number of 230,000 customers, they have reduced that to this hour to 157,470 customers. Middle Tennessee Electric, most of the outages they're dealing with continues to be Williamson County. The vast majority, they have in total 6,870 outages. And then Cumberland Electric, they continue to make progress. Today, when I came on the air at 11 o'clock, they had more than 19,000 outages. They are now down to 16,310 outages, but it is a slow progress, and utilities continue to advise customers it's going to be days before everyone's power is restored. Meanwhile, multiple warming shelters are open in Nashville. You've got the Nashville Rescue Mission sites that are offering beds, meals, and showers. They can even accommodate pets. Fire stations and most police precincts in Nashville are also available for temporary warming, but they do not offer overnight stays. The Madison Community Center is another place where people can go to get warm. City officials, including Mayor Freddie O'Connell, reminding residents to report outages to 311, reserve 911 for emergencies only. Mayor O'Connell reported today that there are 300 NES line crews working to restore power, but they have at least 800 trees that have come down and at least 100 poles have been damaged, so it is a slog. In our nation's capital, concerns are growing among Republicans in Congress after Saturday's shooting in Minneapolis of another protester of the ICE involvement there. More than 24 congressional Republicans are now calling for investigations and hearings into the shooting. Texas Senator Ted Cruz said on his podcast, administration officials were too quick to label Alex Preddy a terrorist. And the GOP chairman of the House and Senate Homeland Security Committees say they now both want the heads of ICE and Customs and Border Protection to appear before their panels in the next few weeks. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, northbound 65 is still shut down between Harding Place and I-440, where that truck took down that TDOT overhead interstate sign. In Portland, Tennessee, we still have a stalled vehicle, left shoulder block 65 northbound after Orlinda, Portland, exit 117. TDOT tells us that interstates in Nashville have at least one lane that is clear. Some areas even more. But it is when you get off on the secondary and third tier roads where you're running into some issues. And that's what you need to keep in mind before you get out. Of course, you need to keep the bitter cold in mind too. We're going to be getting down to the teens and single digits tonight. And you don't want to get stranded in that. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and if you want to know about a place where European auto repair certainly does not feel like European auto repair, I'm here to tell you about Eurofix. At Eurofix, you'll notice they're not your typical garage where you see grease rags lying around and that sort of thing. They're spotless. Their service areas are clean. Their waiting rooms are comfortable, clean, and inviting because Eurofix cares about everything. Every aspect of your experience with Eurofix, they care about that. They care about how you're treated, how your vehicle's treated. Every repair comes with a rock-solid 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all of the repairs that they perform and at below-dealer pricing. You don't have to put up with dealer prices or get ghosted when you're waiting on a callback. Eurofix fixes everything European, plus a rental car available at every appointment. Locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX, or online at myeurofix.com. All right, we're going to do a check around the room. We'll talk with Ken Weaver at Southern Command in just a second, see how things are going there. Any information that he needs to relate to the folks. I mean, obviously, he just did his newscast, but I'm curious where he is. We'll get to Jackson Williams over behind the glass as well. You on the phone, 615-737-9986. If you have anything to relate, give us a call, 615-737-9986. I'm opening the phone lines up right now. We've got another guest at 5:05 this afternoon, Brent Baker with Nashville Electric. A lot of folks curious about what's going on there. Obviously, about 160,000 customers remain without power. And I understand that there are other electrical companies outside of NES. There's MTE. Let me tell you, Mount Pleasant Power Supply, MPPS. I couldn't say more great things about them. It's a small community, but they believe in the service that they provide their residents. And I've been most impressed, not just with government relations, with city relations, but also with the neighbors helping neighbors aspect of all of this, because it is truly a neighborhood feel in my new adopted hometown. So that's great news as well. Ken, any action going on in Murfreesboro that we need to know about outside of the newscast? See, I pitched and I shouldn't have done so because I can't see him. So I guess Ken's not there. Jackson, any action in the control area that I need to know about?
No, it was pretty uneventful trip to work today. Got to shout out my dad for letting me use his truck to get to work today.
Your dad's truck a little four-wheel drive action?
My truck is, but I couldn't get the inch of ice off of my truck.
Yeah, it's tough. That's toughy. Yeah, my most, like I said at the beginning of the show, my most treacherous aspect of getting here from an ice standpoint felt like getting out of my driveway because I had not salted the driveway, and it's got a grade to it. But I managed to do that, and after that, it was all good. The neighborhood was relatively okay. Don't know how it's going to be tonight, but we'll find out.
Got to get out of here fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think the major roads are going to be dry enough. Thankfully, the sun is kind of drying out those paths that if you have to go somewhere, if you have to be somewhere, you're able to traverse that. Just go slow, y'all. Y'all don't have to go too fast. It'll be there when you get there. Just take it easy. Just because the posted speed limit on the interstate is 70 miles an hour, that does not mean you have to go to 70 miles an hour. You can roll out much less than that and should be okay. I think Weaver's back.
Weaver.
I am back, boys.
Weaver, I accidentally went to you without alerting you. I was just curious how things were going down in Murfreesboro. I mean, I know you just did a newscast and all, but everything going down all right down there?
Everything looks to be okay here in Murfreesboro. Middle Tennessee Electric covers a lot of Murfreesboro, and outages in Murfreesboro are few and far between. The outages for Middle Tennessee Electric are the vast majorities in Williamson County. And apparently what Middle Tennessee Power is running into is they're reporting very dense vegetation in the areas where their lines have been damaged or poles are down. And they say that once they clear the trees, more fall. So it's a matter of they're repairing lines, then they're leaving, then they're looking back and other trees have fallen. So it's kind of it's a slog. I mean, it's just a slog, but progress is being made.
Well, no doubt. And it's going to be a slow process, slower for some than for others. And what can be, and Ken, this through all of the weather events that you've been through, what can be frustrating for folks is, they hear that other people's power have come, your power's coming on, my power's not coming on, what's wrong? Well, it all depends on how it goes out, where it goes out. The closer that it happens to your home, especially in residential areas, I'm sad to tell you the worse that is, because those big transformers that go off in the middle of the town, those are going to get fixed first, rightly so. It's just the way that it is. If your power gets cut off right at your house, that's probably going to be a little bit later down the line. They work backwards like that with good reason. Because obviously the bigger and higher traffic areas are the most important areas. No offense to you. If your family's lost power, I obviously know that it's important to you. But just put on your patient pants. Don't put on don't put on your rant pants. Put on your patient pants, right, Ken?
That's right. That's right. Pack your patience, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to bring up something that our good buddy, Brother Dan Thomas from over at Channel 4 talked with you about. And it's one thing we are going to have to keep an eye on tomorrow. We're supposed to get full-on sun tomorrow and get above 34 degrees. And that is going to be good for melting. But another concern that he brought this up is where all that water is going to go, man. A lot of drains where water usually goes are still going to be covered by ice. So be very, very cognizant of that, of where all this water goes once it does really start melting. There could be some flooding in some localized areas.
No doubt. And yeah, I mean, this stuff melting off the trees and whatnot is going to put a lot of pressure on those drainage areas, put a lot of pressure in these pipes, and we're on the lookout for some of those backups as well. So there's Ken Weaver down in Southern Command, Matt Murphy in studio, Jackson Williams controlling the experience, making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as humanly possible. Obviously, yes, Jackson.
Are we doing nincompoops today?
Well, sure.
Okay, I mean, just wanted to make sure.
Why in the world would we not do? Who's the reigning nincompoops champion?
Me?
No, it's not. Why? Why do I keep Ken? I don't know why I keep asking him, because every time I ask him, he always says him.
Yes.
Which,
Brother Jackson would make a great attorney or politician.
Right. Who was I giving this check to? Me. Who was I giving this wad of cash to? Me.
Who did this? Not me.
Was it good or bad? If it's good, I did it. If it's bad, it was somebody else.
If it was bad, it was that Ken Weaver fella.
Yeah, down in Murfreesboro. By the way,
I was able to find an nincompoops, boys.
I like it. We'll do that at 5:35 this afternoon. By the way, Ken.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you have the ability to check out the YouTubes because we can't get you on camera doing the news.
Yeah.
Have you seen what it says while you're doing the news?
No. What's it say?
It says, "He's Ken Weaver."
I'm Ken Weaver.
That's right. You're Ken. But the sign says, "He's Ken Weaver." I love it. He just does the news, boys.
I just do the news, boys. Yeah.
All right, reset here. I think we're getting Mike some help over in Jolton, so we're looking out for that. Give us your text on the super text line 615-737-9986, and your telephone calls back right after this. All right, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and Alpha and Omega is my computer consultation firm, and they should be yours as well. They handle all of your IT needs. If you're a business owner, if you have business needs, you need to contact Alpha and Omega. Whether you're in the medical field, the business community, the financial world, they act in compliance with all of those fields, and they do it the right way, friends. And they understand, Michael and his team understand at Alpha and Omega, that the world is a dangerous place, more dangerous than it's ever been with regard to IT, because cybersecurity and ransomware threats are real, and they are happening more and more to small and medium-sized businesses. If you're a business owner, you owe it to yourself to contact Michael and his team. Let them sit down and explain to you what they offer in terms of IT. They take complete ownership of all of your issues, internet, printers, servers, emails, you name it. They handle it, whether they service directly or not. If it's IT-related, they will help you troubleshoot it and get rid of the issue. 615-784-0096, 784-0096, or online at ANO.net. That's ANO.net.
We'll let you know where you can go to warm up tonight if it is just too cold where you're at, especially those without electricity. Also, growing uneasiness among GOP members of Congress after a second federal agent-involved shooting in Minneapolis. These stories and more coming up at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. Ken Weaver in Southern Command. Matt Murphy in the studios of Cumulus Nashville, Super Talk 99.7 WTN at about 4 until 5 o'clock. We're here till 7 o'clock tonight, or whenever, we'll be here till you need us, but I think 7 o'clock will do. Jackson Williams behind the glass screening your telephone calls. So, Jackson, you got a call that a fella had firewood but no way to deliver it. I've got a delivery guy and maybe not enough firewood. So if you send me the number that you got on your end, I'm going to connect these two because Tracy has written in and said, I can get Mike firewood. I can get him anything he needs. And Tracy also said that he talked to Mike, he or she. I'm assuming it's a he, but I shouldn't. Tracy could be either. I've called him and I will get him firewood, whatever else he needs. He has no power, says he'll be good until tomorrow. I will get him wood in the morning. So, and then Tracy also says if there's anyone else that has firewood that I could pick up and deliver to Mike, that would be a bonus. So I'll get you that communication coming up in just a moment. If there's, look, this is the way I look at it. If there's anything we can do to help a single listener in need, we're going to do it. And these are the times that on the radio station, we kind of suspend. Look, I'm going to talk about what's happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota before the show's over. We'll have some fun with nincompoops in the news before the show's over. But our primary objective is to make sure that there are not people in Middle Tennessee that are suffering right now that could get help from other people who are listening, willing to give that help. That is what it's all about. That's what we do. That's where radio is best, frankly. And that's where talk radio and Super Talk 99.7 WTN, we try to go above and beyond. And we do that because we're your neighbors, too. Matt, did you do any sledding? Was it on purpose? I did some sledding, and no, it was not on purpose. I had to get some cows back in their pasture. Didn't know if I was going to make it back. I mean, it is bitterly cold. I walked before the worst of the storm. I'll tell you what I did. God works in mysterious ways. God works in interesting ways. And I got my fence guy out, and he's doing a good job. But, he got delayed because of weather. And he was about a week delayed from putting my fence up. But he was able to, before the storms came, he was able to get the line up where the fence is going to go so I can approve the fence line so we can go ahead and get that in. Well, if the weather had not been such that had put him behind so as to he had to call me, Philip had to call me and say, hey, I'm running a little bit behind, so it's going to be after this next storm system. Had he been on time, and I was annoyed. I was like, come on, man, we got to get my fence up, got to get my dogs here, blah, 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 blah. Well, what's that old song? Unanswered Prayers?
Yes, sir.
Because if my fence had been up, my fence would have been destroyed by a lot of tree limbs.
Mrs. Weasley and Munford would have had nothing to do.
Oh, you got the fake names right. Good for you. I'm just glad you got the fake names correct.
I haven't been able to get Munford right lately.
It's Munson. I think it's probably because when you think Munford, you think Munford and Sons.
Yes.
And then you immediately think Munson, which is his actual name. And then that screws you up.
Mrs. Weasley and Munford just hanging out in Alabama.
They're just, they're chilling in Montgomery, where apparently there were storms in Montgomery, too. They were just of the rain and thunder boomer variety. Apparently, a couple of those storms had straight line winds big enough that my former radio station down there, WACV, 1170 on your AM dial, their tower got knocked down.
Tower knocked down?
I worked
at
an 1170.
Did you now?
I did indeed.
Well, there you go. Well, that's
what do you know about that, Brother Murphy?
Wasn't WACV, was it?
No, sir. It was KVOO.
Oh, well.
AM 1170, the voice of Oklahoma.
Oh, I love it. I love it. WACV 1170 on your AM dial. The Big Talker.
Apparently whenever Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys got kicked out of Texas for, I don't know what for, they apparently went up to Tulsa because the radio station I worked for at night, it beamed all across the western United States. And so Bob Wills said, well, we ain't going to have any of that. We'll still sell records. How?
Love it. Here comes the news, fellas. Super Talk 99.7 W10.
It is 5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and progress is being made on the power outages. It is slow, but it is progress. NES now reporting 156,764 outages, down from its peak of 230,000 yesterday. Middle Tennessee Electric down to 6,381 outages, down from its peak of around 17,000 at one point. That may have been more yesterday. And then Cumberland Electric now reporting 16,096 outages. They were at 19,000 plus whenever I went on the air this morning at 11 o'clock. So progress is being made, albeit slow, and the utilities are not backing away from giving the bad news that it is going to take days for everyone's power to be restored. Earlier today, we had Mayor Freddie O'Connell on WTN's Matt Murphy show, where the mayor told us that NES has an excess of 300 line crews now helping to restore power, but they've got 800 trees down across Davidson County, and that includes at least 100 damaged poles. And of course, traffic. That's the big question on everybody's mind. Is it safe to drive? Well, we heard from TDOT here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN's Matt Murphy show, where they told us that, yes, the interstates in Nashville have at least one lane that is clear. And it's more in others. There may be as many, not many, but other lanes open. More than one is what I'm trying to say. But she says in the rural areas, that is not the case. That's where you still need to be careful. And she says that TDOT is able now to start getting to some of those secondary and below roads now, where they haven't been able to since yesterday. And of course, today, there was a full-on effort to get those main interstates cleared, and there is some success in that. We got traffic and weather coming up here in just another couple of minutes. Now, if you need to get warm, Nashville Rescue Mission is offering beds, meals, showers, and space for pets in kennels. Fire stations and most police precincts in Nashville are open as warming centers. Officials urging people to call 311 for outages and 911 only for emergencies. And if you're looking for a warming shelter and you don't live in Nashville, go to the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency's website. You can find it under tn.gov. There is a map of warming shelters you can check for one near you. In our nation's capital, Republican criticism is growing over Saturday's shooting of a VA nurse in Minneapolis by Border Patrol agents. More than 24 GOP lawmakers are now calling for investigations or hearings. Texas Senator Ted Cruz says administration officials were too quick to label the suspect, Alex Preddy, a terrorist. And Republican leaders of the House and Senate Homeland Security Committees want the heads of ICE and Customs and Border Protection to testify in the coming weeks. Congress last year approved billions of dollars to expand those agencies' personnel and detention operations. Meanwhile, Tom Homan, President Trump's border czar, is headed to Minnesota to manage ICE operations there. President Trump posting to social media that he will answer and report directly to him. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, got some good news to report there. Northbound 65 looks like it has been reopened there just south of 440 where that truck had taken out that overhead TDOT sign, so that is reopened. However, I'm seeing here in Sumner County, Gallatin, we've got westbound blocked. This is going to be Red River Road. Westbound is blocked just north of Long Hollow Pike. Emergency vehicles are on the scene there. TDOT is reporting that. Not sure exactly what the problem is there. Then in Murray County, we've got Carter's Creek Pike blocked between Les Robertson Road and Nashville Highway. That is due to storm damage. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We got a lot to get into during the 5 and 6 o'clock hours on the Matt Murphy Show. Obviously, our central focus of conversation has been on the weather and some of the issues that it has created over the last, 3 or 4 days in Middle Tennessee. We'll continue those discussions with you. James and Robert will get to you momentarily. A lot of folks reaching out on the Super Text line. I've got yet another person in Jolton that we need to get some help to. Someone needs some gas for their generator. And I know these seem like small things, but the small things add up to big things. And friends, that's what I'm all about today. That's what I'm all about this week. I'm all about helping people that might find themselves in need. Some of these folks, they have no other comfort than the radio that they're listening to right now. And we're going to provide them additional comfort by providing them firewood if needed, providing them gas for their generators if needed, providing them words of solace if that's what you need, food if you need. And so we're going to continue doing that coming up in just a moment. Right now, we are joined by the Nashville Electric Service. Brent Baker is a spokesperson for the Nashville Electric Service, or NES. And Brent joins us to give us an update on what has obviously been a very tricky 72 or thereabouts hours. Brent, thank you for being on with us on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk. Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you for having us and for getting the information out to your listeners and the customers. Very important time to get information. They're expecting a lot of information, and we're working hard to get it out, so thank you.
Well, we spoke with Mayor Freddie O'Connell earlier in the show, and he indicated that we had a high point of about 230 metro outages, 230,000, I should say, metro outages, and thankfully we've seen a lot of reparation of that outage, but I don't want to lead you in any direction other than just to ask you, where are we at 5:10 in the afternoon on this Monday?
Yeah, we're nearing 150,000 customers out now, so that's 75,000 or so customers that have been restored really since yesterday morning. So for our outages starting sometime in the early morning, Sunday morning, that's about a 24-hour period that we've restored 75,000. We are working diligently around the clock. We have crews working, as an example, last night, restoring those, nearly 50 to 60,000 overnight. It's because of all the work we're doing 24 hours a day that some of that work gets done overnight, but we're working all the time. In addition to the work that we're doing, we are also continuing to bring in reinforcements every day. So today I mentioned we have doubled our workforce. We have added another 100 today to that. What we had said was around 400. We're over 500 line workers right now, and we're bringing in another 100 or so tomorrow. Expect to possibly bring more in than that. We're just working through all of our mutual aid and contract arrangements to organize that and make sure we have it. Additionally, tree trimming. Vegetation is the biggest issue. We've got trees all over, so we brought in contract tree trimming resources to be able to get ahead. So we have a methodical plan getting these main feeder lines turned on so that our customers can get that power on in those main areas, and then we'll start working those side taps. We can't fix the back end neighborhoods until we get the main feeders on, but a lot of good work. We do know that we're going to ask a lot of our customers from a patient's perspective, and we know it's frustrating. But we're doing all we can, and even with that, bringing in the resources. We are bringing in resources continuously to make sure we are dedicating to our community.
Brent, is all of this, or at least for the most part, what we're dealing with, it's due to this freezing rain, right? The simple fact is when the ice coats the tree limbs and the tree limbs fall, then the power lines fall behind them. And so you gotta clear out the tree debris to begin with before you can even begin the process of getting those lines back up. I know you guys are doing incredible work at a very fast speed, but it's all about that freezing rain that happened that's causing the significance of the outages that we're seeing. Am I right?
That is absolutely right. Last week we were messaging that if we get half an inch of ice, it will be catastrophic, to be prepared. We ended up in some places at 3/4 of an inch. When you get half an inch to 3/4 of an inch, that's why you see so much widespread damage here in Nashville. In some areas of Tennessee where it was a 1/4 inch, there was damage, but not to the severity we're experiencing. And it's that weight of that ice on trees that is destroying a lot of the trees around. You can see all over town trees that were once standing are now flattened to the ground, and that's what has fallen through our lines, and also what we have to remove to be able to do work.
Brent Baker is with us. He's with NES, just describing the situation as it stands at 5:12 in the afternoon this Monday. I think it goes without saying, but we're going to do it anyway, Brent. For folks who have power outages, if you see lines down anywhere near you, tell them what to do.
Stay away from those lines, 30 feet or more away. Do not go near a power line. They assume they're energized anytime you're around a power line, and we'll get to those and make them safe over time. But this will be a long week for us all to work through it.
And I know we're going to talk about the patience piece in just a moment, because I know you want people to have patience, and we're trying to help facilitate that by getting people in need what they need to last without power over the next several days. We're doing the best that we can, but best practice on if you have power outages, do you need to let NES know, or are they already aware? What would you advise people to do?
Yeah, at this point, we're already aware of the outages around the system. Once we have started restoring, we may make some calls to the community or get on your show again and say, hey, we think we've restored a lot of areas. Call us if you don't have power yet. But at this point, we know most of the outages that have happened, and we're confident we're restoring in the areas that need to be restored, which is a widespread restoration.
And you know, I hesitate to ask this, Brent, because I know that, you know, you've been asked this question quite a bit over the last 24/7. I mean, you know, what is our time frame? I mean, you know, give us your best guess. I mean, I know a lot of people want to know that. I know it's hard and tricky to tell, but just give us your best estimate.
Well, I'm glad you're doing this for the customers. Customers expect to get this detailed information of what's going on at their house. It's still early to give individual customers an answer. We are knowing that this is going to be a prolonged event lasting into the weekend, and hopefully we can get through the weekend and get most everybody restored. But until we get through this next couple of days, it's still hard to pinpoint. We're working those main feeders, so I would tell everybody to prepare for long outages. If you are in a spot where you can't make it through the cold in your home because it's going to get too cold, get to a friend or a family member that has energy, has electricity, or get to a warming shelter. Mayor has done a great job with his fire and police chiefs to get places for folks. We hate to offer that, but definitely think this will be prolonged for a lot of people.
Well, let us know how we can help, Brent. We will be here for you, providing as much information as we possibly can, getting that out to as many people as we possibly can. I know you guys are working hard at it, and we'll continue leaning on you for updates as they come. We'll talk to you at least tomorrow, but if there's anything we need to let the public know about tonight, you just don't hesitate to call us.
Thank you for letting this information get out. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Brent. That's Brent Baker with NES. I mean, there's just, you know, obviously they're working as hard as they can. And when you're dealing with a half an inch of, I mean, and it's my understanding, I saw this last night before our internet went out, or yesterday afternoon before our internet went out. I think the way that they measure that, they measure it off the branch. And so if you're talking about a half an inch of ice on trees, that's a 1/4 inch on either side surrounding the branch. I mean, that's a huge amount of weight on a tree. That level of weight on the tree then, you know, snaps the limbs, and then that goes across the power lines, and then there you go. I know that, and I saw it this morning. Maybe some of you did if you're still wasting your money over there with the Tennessean. I waste my money so you don't have to online. I pay the $10 a month so I can report back to you the crap that they put out. But one way or the other, Cameron Smith is good. He's almost worth the money himself. But there was a letter to the editor admonishing us that if we had more arborists in our community, that we wouldn't be dealing with this right now. Well, you know, can we save this level of micromanagement and this level of hindsight for down the road when people have their power back, please? It's just it's a little untoward. It's hey, Nashville could have prevented this by cutting down all of your trees. Well, yeah, I imagine we could, but we like our trees. We like our shade. We like the beauty of the trees. And obviously that comes with a certain level of peril, and these ice storms don't come along very often. And I'm almost thankful that I'm going over to the Tennessean website, because I was gonna relate some of that story to you, but I'm unable to right now. In the meantime, we have another ask out of Jolton. Renee is asking that. Renee's asking for gas out of the generator. Renee is listening on the or responding on the chat, and said that they have 4 animals. They're seniors. They need gas for a generator. Renee, I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to give her address or any other identifying information, except to say, if you are a neighbor in and around the Jolton area, if you call Jackson, I can provide that address or at least a telephone number. Renee, if you're listening on chat or if you're listening on YouTube or however you're hearing me, hit me up on the text line if you can at 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986, and just give me a good number for you, and I'll let you coordinate the rest of that. But if you need gas for your generator to keep yourself warm, to keep your pets warm, she says she has 4 animals as well, and she lives with another senior in Jolton. We're going to do what we can to help you out. I was just alerted, and thank you to those who alerted me that was going on in the chat. I can't follow the chat like I follow the super text, but obviously we want to get some folks out there to help you out. Now, Nolene has also responded on the super text posted on the YouTube chat. I don't see all of those. I don't see all of those chats. I just can't keep up with them. So if you're in the Jolton area, give us an opportunity to help some seniors that are living over there out by getting some gas for their generators. They need to keep warm. Renee, we got help coming, and help is on the way. 615-737-9986. It's James next up on the show. Hey, James, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine if I get that temperature up a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt, James. It's going to get colder before it gets warmer, I'll tell you that.
You think? Hey, but anyway, so I've got the news you've been waiting for all day long.
What's that?
Tomorrow and tomorrow only, you can take 500 coins in tomorrow.
500 coins in tomorrow?
Yeah. It's official. They're closed.
Oh, you talking about?
Yeah, I am. But anyway, so I love your idea. P for P, call me. People for people, call me.
Yeah, neighbors helping neighbors is what we said.
Exactly right.
That's right.
All right, then.
All right, brother. All right. Thank you, James. I think James was referring to the story I told about City Hall, and they weren't accepting coins anymore because somebody tried to pay their water bill in pennies. I'm thinking that's what he was referring to, but I'm not entirely sure. James, thank you for the call. God bless you. We appreciate you. 4574 says, the police chief and fire chief are awesome. They do a fantastic job, but I feel like the city needs a public safety commissioner. Are you referring to the city of Nashville? I think Nashville's doing... I mean, look, I'll knock on Nashville when the situation warrants. Right now, they're doing as best they can. I mean, NES got the hell beat out of them a couple of years ago, rightly so, because of those rolling blackouts, because they did not... you don't remember that? A couple of years
I
ago.
remember that. We were on the air on the zone.
It was ridiculous, the suggestion that we have to have rolling blackouts just because it's 2 degrees outside, or rolling brownouts, they called them. But they did everything in their power to repair some of that, and I don't know that it's been completely repaired. And we'll do a full-throated post-mortem, if you will, of the successes and the failures coming up in the coming days. But let me tell you, these linemen, these workers that are out, they are doing their best in pretty rough conditions trying to get your power back on. I've long said that if you think we live in a civilized society, if you think we live on the bedrock of civilization, turn the lights out for a week and see what happens. Because we have become, as a human race, dependent, certainly as Americans, dependent on electricity. And we kind of freak out when we don't have it, rightly so, because I was talking to somebody a minute ago on text. Most of us simply don't have fireplaces. This person asked why we allow new construction in Nashville, Tennessee without requiring fireplaces. Well, I mean, that would be nice, but most people wouldn't know how to start a fire in a fireplace, much less maintain one. Most people wouldn't know how to get firewood. We just have moved away from that, especially in our more urban areas. Rurally, I mean, y'all know how to start a fire. Y'all know what a fireplace is all about, and that's good on y'all. And I would encourage people to be self-sufficient in that regard, but, we've moved away from it a lot, which is why we try to be here for you. It's 23 after the hour. We'll get to Robert, get to Patty in a moment. Your calls as well, 615-737-9986. Hey, before I tell you about my friends at King and Associates, I need to correct myself. Several of you are telling me that the brownouts that were a few years ago or the blackouts were due to TVA, not NES. And if I said that wrong, I stand corrected. I apologize. If it wasn't, I feel like those two things go hand in hand, but I don't want to report erroneously about any of that. So if it was a TVA issue, not an NES issue, I apologize. My memory does not serve me well as to the particulars of that story. I just vaguely remembered that we were very critical of those responsible. And I thought it was NES, but I could be wrong. And when I'm wrong, I certainly will say that I was. I was not wrong when I made the switch to King and Associates Insurance. I'll tell you that. Your home and your automobile, two of the biggest investments you're going to make. And I saved a lot of money switching auto over when I got homeowners insurance with King and Associates. They now protect both my home and my automobiles. It fits my life, it fits my budget, and it will fit yours too. If you're a first-time homeowner or you're a growing family, maybe you're just shopping for better automobile rates, they make it simple with no pushy salespeople. Emery was my guy. And what a great representative he is. Local, independent, and working for me, not for the big insurance companies. Visit tkinginsurance.com. That's tkinginsurance.com, or call 329-8121. 329-8121 for a free quote today on auto coverage that'll give you peace of mind. Once again, that number, 329-8121. King & Associates Insurance, protecting what matters most.
More progress on power outages and growing unrest among Republican members of Congress on what's going on in Minneapolis. We'll tell you about it at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, we're getting your telephone calls, your thoughts, your questions, your concerns dealing with the inclement weather surrounding our community. We are also monitoring the situation in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Obviously, Donald Trump is concerned enough about it. They had a conversation with Governor Tim Walz. Here's what I'll say about it. Several of you are like, are you not going to comment on this? I'm more focused on helping our neighbors in serious situations involving the weather right now. I will say this. That anytime that you have a police interaction that goes badly in terms of someone ending up dead, you need to do a full investigation of that police interaction. Sadly, there have been many politicians that have used rhetoric and language that have led people to do things that they really should not be doing in terms of interfering with law enforcement operations, legal law enforcement operations, including but not limited to characterizing those immigration and customs enforcement agents as some sort of Gestapo or Nazi-esque apparatus. Third, Donald Trump is obviously not a monster. Donald Trump doesn't want American citizens to die, despite what leftist lunatics are telling you. And so he is expressing concern, has expressed that to Walz, and has sent Tom Homan up there to shore up some of this situation, and including in that, they have relieved Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino of his duties, or at least temporarily asking him to remove himself from the situation in Minnesota, along with some of his border agents. If Tim Walz had allowed for local and state law enforcement to assist Immigration and Customs Enforcement in their legal duties and responsibilities, none of this would have happened in terms of Border Patrol being up there to begin with. Secondarily, if they had not characterized Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the way that they did locally to that community, perhaps there would not be a gravity pull of rabble-rousers and outside agitators that have come into that community for the express purpose of creating dynamics by which you see the tension levels heat up. Now, does it help that Kash Patel and Kristi Noem were saying what they were saying about the Second Amendment? No. Obviously, you have every right in the world to keep and bear arms if you are legally authorized to do so. But what your responsibility in that is, if you do keep and bear arms, recognize that if there is a gun recognized as to have been introduced into a situation with law enforcement, they are going to up their level of force considerably to disarm you. And in a heated moment of interaction, mistakes can be made. Were mistakes made in this situation? I don't know yet. We're going to find out. But if they are, those that made those mistakes need to be held responsible as much as they should. But those that created the dynamics that led to what happened up there, they need to be held responsible too. Now, all of that to say, Robert is coming up, Patty's coming up, Ken Weaver's got the newscast, we got Nincompoops on the way, and Mike in Old Hickory has joined in. Now, he's not coming on the show because he's now banned until after Valentine's Day. Because Mike said he agreed with the bet, didn't he?
He did agree.
Mike said there would be no storm. There would be no ice. There was all hype. And so he's now not going to be. But now Mike is saying that if you own a septic tank, that you should not let your pipes drip. The water drip. Because it goes into the septic tank and it will freeze. I don't believe that. But I'm putting it out there. Does anybody else know? Mike says it's a fact. If the water drips into the septic, then the septic will freeze and it'll bust and it'll boil over. I don't know what he was talking. I was only half listening, honestly. But that's what Mike says. 32 after the hour on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Progress continues to be made on the power outages from the winter storm across Middle Tennessee. Right now, NES says it has reduced the outages to 152,072 from the peak of at least 230,000 during the height of the winter storm yesterday. Another thing that is good news for Nashville Electric Service customers, we interviewed the CEO, Brent Baker, and CEO and Vice President of NES here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN's Matt Murphy Show. He told us that as many as 600 line crews will be out by tomorrow to restore power. They've had 800 trees downed, more than 100 poles destroyed, and those 600 line crews are going to help tremendously tomorrow. They'll be working through the night, but tomorrow when as many as 600 line crews come on, hopefully they can get it done faster. Now, by saying that, he also doesn't want to get hopes up, if you will, because he did tell us that it's going to run through the weekend, restoring everyone's power in Nashville. Other outages to talk about, we've got Middle Tennessee Electric. They're making some progress. Most of those outages are in Williamson County. They number 6,342. And Cumberland Electric, now down to 15,013 outages. They were at 19,000 plus whenever I came on the air today at 9 o'clock. Warming shelters are open, including the Nashville Rescue Mission. Also, the city has opened nearly 40 fire stations and most police precincts for people needing warmth, though beds are not available at those sites. And you can go to tn.gov and find a warming shelter near you anywhere in the state. By looking up the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, they will have a map for warming shelters. And in our nation's capital, the backlash from Republicans is intensifying after Saturday's shooting of a VA nurse in Minneapolis by Border Patrol agents. At least 24 GOP members of Congress are demanding investigations or formal hearings. On his podcast, Senator Ted Cruz criticized what he called rushed rhetoric by administration officials who labeled Alex Preddy a terrorist. Republican leaders on Capitol Hill now want top ICE and Border Patrol officials to answer questions before Congress. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Right now, we still have the westbound lanes of Red River Road blocked to just north of Long Hollow Pike. You've got emergency vehicles on the scene. In Glencliff, disabled vehicle blocking the right lane. That's 40 eastbound at Spence Lane. And TDOT is still showing crews dealing with that issue northbound 65 just south of I-440, where a semi today took out one of those overhead TDOT signs. They were diverting traffic onto Harding Place before you get to that northbound 65. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I don't think being cooped up with all the food in your house is helping your waistline any. Maybe it's not helping your New Year's resolution either, but I do know something that can. That is Contours. Keith, Stephanie, and the rest of the gang at Contours LLC want you to keep safe, sound, and hopefully warm. But when the time comes that you're ready to get back out and about, and you're not able to, you got those comfy pants on now, you're not able to button up those big boy britches. It's time to get with the red light technology that is Contours. I know I did. It's the perfect solution to get rid of stubborn fat that keeps you from looking your best. Think about this. They're running a special right now, the Belly Buster special at $99. They also have something called the Murph. Ask them about the Murph when you make the call to Contours that so many others have made. I've gone through the process. And friends, I lost 2.67 inches around my midsection the first treatment. You heard me correctly, 2.67. That's real. And if you don't lose at least 2 inches around your midsection, your first experience at Contours is absolutely complimentary. No charge to you. That's how much they believe that they can help you get off those inches. What do you have to lose after all but inches? ContoursLLC.com or call So 615-236-9960. 615-236-9960. Once again, what do you have to lose but inches? Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, I got a little mic issue there. I will agree with, I don't like to agree with Dan Mandis about much, but I will agree with him on this. That since we lost our little, our other model of microphone holder, I have a tendency to, those of you that watch the YouTube chat, you know this, or YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, and the chat feature there, you know that I manage the mic a lot, and now every time I touch it, it makes a noise. I hope it doesn't make a noise to you, but it does it, and it makes a noise to everybody. That's what I thought. Maybe this will train my brain to touch the microphone less, which is probably advantageous in and of itself. Robert is coming up. Patty, you're coming up as well. I might get to you before we get to nincompoops. I just want to put a capper on another nincompoop by another name named Mike. I owned a house for 14 years with a septic tank. And every time it got below freezing enough, and really it was below like 20 degrees, I would drip the faucet. I also continued to go to the bathroom during that nasty weather. During that cold weather. Mike called us, and we would not allow Mike on the phone, but he was very insistent. We wouldn't allow him on the radio, on air, but he was very insistent that I talk with him. Now, Jackson, you tell me if I'm mischaracterizing any of this. Mike said, do not allow your water to drip if you own a septic tank because it will freeze in the tank.
That is what he said.
Okay, so what do you think happens when I poop, Mike, and I flush the toilet when it's 10 degrees outside?
An angel gets its wings.
I mean, Mike, you know, I understand that when the good Lord yelled that he was giving out brains, you thought he said train and you ran in the other direction. But just use the meager amount of sense that God gave you. No offense, buddy, but if I take a shower and it's real cold outside, where does that water go? If I go to the bathroom and it's real cold outside and flush the toilet, where does that water go? So you're telling me it's those drips that are going to cause a freezing problem? Oh, by the way, septic tanks are located below the freeze line, or at least they're supposed to. And I was informed via the Supertext line that is over 20 inches below ground. I would think it's a little more than that, but yeah, I mean, I'll trust that. So John in Lawrenceburg backs me up on this. I've had a septic tank system all my life in extremely cold conditions. We've always let the water drip to keep water lines from freezing. We have never had a septic tank freeze or bursts. This is absolute nonsense. Scott writes, there's already liquid in the septic tank that would freeze if it were susceptible to freezing, which it should not be because septic tanks are supposed to be below the frost line, which is around 20 inches in Tennessee. By Mike's logic, you should also never flush or wash your hands because that puts water in the septic tank. But I suppose if Mike wants to crap in the toilet for a week and not flush it until the weather warms up, that's up to him.
Oh.
Dire times.
I mean, I don't know that it's possible that you can be stupider than Mike from Old Hickory and still operate a telephone. Let's see if we can find some greater nincompoops around the world with nincompoops in the news.
Nincompoops in the news.
All right, it's time, boys and girls. Nincompoops in the news time. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What are you laughing at, Weaver?
Well, it sounds very funny to me because I can't hear any music. All I can hear is the spoken word here at Southern Command.
Oh, so
all I hear is I hear no music, but I hear Brother Murphy going, Nincompoop!
It sounds a lot better with music, I hope. That's fun. Well, it is time for Nincompoops in the News, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's our daily look into the wacky and weird and nonsensical world that we live in. And there's a lot of nincompoops around, enough that we present you 3 stories on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, and you get to vote. And at the end of the week, we tally those votes up. We tally the daily winners up. And someone gets the huge Nincompoop in the News trophy brought to us by the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Last week, I did a little finagling. And
you cheated.
I did not cheat.
You cheated.
I did not. How did I cheat, Jack?
You took my story right out from under me. You knew where I fish. You went to my pond and you took my winner.
I took your what?
Winner.
Oh, I thought you said something else. Jackson, you had first choice and you gave it up.
Yes, because you said you had a local story.
Well, I was thinking about a local story.
You lied to me.
I changed
you deceived me.
I changed my mind, which is my prerogative.
You know, Ken, you know how I know he knows he's in the wrong here?
How's that, Brother Jack?
The trophy's still in here with me.
Oh, I can bring it in here if I wanted to. It's my trophy this week. I can do whatever I want. I'll take it home. I'll take it to Mount Pleasant. I'll show it around. I'll take it to Lightning's Barbershop in Mount Pleasant and show it to all the fellas down at Lightning's. How about that? Huh? Take it over to Mount Pleasant Grill and show that off while I'm having a delicious Cobb salad. Or that BLT salad's so good. I'm hungry, fellas. And I think Mount Pleasant Grill is actually closing. Or closed today. So I get to pick because I won on Friday, and I am the weekly champion, and I know that I'm number one, Jackson. You don't have to tell me. And so with that in mind, I want Ken Weaver to go first. Ken, you're an nincompoop,
Yes,
sir.
All right, boys. This comes from the San Francisco Standard. The writer is George Kelly. I want to give him credit because I'm getting ready to read it. What a long, strange trip it's been. A proponent of naked bike riding was arrested Saturday at Civic Center Plaza during the public memorial for Grateful Dead co-founder Bob Weir after a confrontation with park rangers and San Francisco police. Martin Moulton, who runs a local chapter of the World Naked Bike Ride organization, said he was taken into custody after he and several companions appeared nude at the tribute, which drew an estimated 20,000 people. Moulton said he and his friends believed the memorial would be a welcoming environment for their brand of expression. We knew the Grateful Dead historically have been accommodating to people who weren't wearing clothes, Moulton said. That seemed like a place where we could promote our events. Well, Saturday's memorial featured tributes from Dead and Company artists, blah, 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 all that. According to Moulton and freelance photographer Matt Goff, who witnessed the incident, several park rangers approached the nudists and asked them to leave the plaza. And when the men declined, citing their understanding of laws regarding public nudity, the rangers retreated and conferred before calling the San Francisco Police Department. So basically, police pull up and insist you cannot be naked on public property. But then Moulton says, I 100% can during this special event. Where is that? Where is that written? Police ask. You show me your reg and I'll show you my reg, Moulton says later, adding, anyway, it turned into a brawl. Moulton apparently spit on a couple of the cops and they took him to jail. Even San Francisco cops don't like naked people spitting on them.
That's exactly right. And the biggest problem with this story, Ken, is all I can imagine. And look, at my age, if I tried to ride a bicycle naked, I'd be worried about getting stuff caught in the spokes.
Well, what kind of seat are they sitting on, too? Better be one of them big banana seats.
I hope so. Some of those,
some of them,
it'd be dangerous.
They'd disappear.
You said it. I didn't. Oh, I like it. That's a good nincompoop. I'm going to go second. Jackson?
Oh, I'm sure you know exactly where you got this story from.
No, my story headline, Local Nashville man encourages bucket pooping during freezing times.
Hey, desperate times call for desperate measures.
A local Nashville man, Mike from Old Hickory, called a very popular radio program Monday afternoon encouraging those who are experiencing freezing conditions to stop pooping if they had a septic tank, claiming that those tanks would freeze and then subsequently explode. Despite the fact that people have been using septic tanks for millennia and not had any experience toward this end, Mike from Old Hickory insisted that he was correct and every other human being on planet Earth was wrong, saying if you do so, you're going to experience a very, very bad condition with your septic tank. End quote. Therefore, Mike claims that you should use instead the outside, any outside areas for your bathroom needs, or perhaps a bucket.
As some would call a squatty potty.
Maybe even a squatty potty. Thank you, Jackson. Mike in Old Hickory, you, sir, are a nincompoop.
I don't even know why I'm going to go.
He was further quoted as saying...
What's he do?
Did you just fart in the microphone?
What'd you do, kid? Did Mike out? I think Kid pooted.
Ken, did you just fart in the microphone?
That was Fritz.
Always blaming the dog, aren't you, Weaver?
No.
I'm just I'm looking down at the control thing I have for Ken's microphone like I can see him.
Yeah, right. Like you could see him back there. Yeah, that was Fritz.
Well, I told Fritz not to do that unless I pull his paw.
And you pulled his paw.
I didn't. He's in trouble.
Uh-oh.
All right.
All right. Yes, your turn.
Florida man accused of driving with car on fire arrested on DUI charges, deputies say. A man accused of driving a car on fire on US 192 was arrested on DUI charges on Friday, according to the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. Patrick Rinaldi, 60 years old, was charged for driving under the influence and refusing to submit DUI testing after witnesses told deputies that Rinaldi had stopped but eventually got back in the vehicle and began driving with heavy smoke coming out of the car. After driving a short distance, it stopped again, only now flames were taking over the vehicle, but Rinaldi drove away again. When deputies arrived, Brevard County Fire and Rescue was observed putting out a brush fire that was allegedly started by the burning vehicle. Deputies say Rinaldi was driving with his wife inside the burning vehicle. Rinaldi escaped and was barely able to help his wife escape from the fire. As deputies began talking to Rinaldi, they realized there were even more problems as he smelled of alcohol. The sheriff's office said he only had one beer earlier. However, we found a bottle of liquor under the floorboard,
Well, yeah, they did.
which in our line of work is called a clue.
Yep.
He was subsequently arrested for driving under the influence.
Subsequently.
Subsequently.
He's-
Sequentially?
I think you put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Subsequently?
Subsequently.
Subsequently.
Yeah, there you go. There
Oh,
you
who
go.
cares?
We've all learned something today. I'm surprised you wasted such a good story when clearly Mike from Old Hickory is going to be the nincompoop in the
That's
news
such a
today.
good story. I didn't have time to find another crappy one that I could throw away.
Crappy one. I see what you did there.
I like
for
how
me.
the guy said he said he only had one drink. Usually people say, oh, just a couple.
Right.
But he just said, I just had one.
I mean, why would you say one? Why would you not say zero? I mean, if right? I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never had a drink in my life, officer.
Also-
That's my response.
What are you going to do with, like, if that bottle of liquor goes up in the fire,
Yes, sir.
you're hosed, buddy. Literally, because they're going to have to hose you down.
It's an old saying I was taught when I was a young lad, fellas. Up goes the bottle and down goes the man. A lot to be said there. It is 54 after the hour. You can vote for me. You can vote for Ken Weaver. You can vote for Jackson Williams. But vote early, vote often. 615-737-9986. Get to your calls momentarily. Robert, Patty, and Don. Hang in there. It's the Matt Murphy Show. You know, our friends over at TDOT and our friends at Nashville Electric remind us that all of this ice, all of this snow, it has to melt, and it will melt at some point or another. Well, what happens if it's getting into your house when the melting occurs? Well, at United Structural Systems, they want to help. What comes to mind when you think of home? I mean, obviously, you're thinking of family, you're thinking of friends, you're thinking of warmth, you're thinking of walking through the door and knowing that you're safe. Well, you're not safe if there's waterproofing issues inside of your home. And if that's the case, USS, they are your team of experts. They'll find out why your basement or your crawl space is wet. They'll find out why it's happening, and then they will customize a plan to fix it the right way with a lifetime warranty. When the water starts showing up where it doesn't belong in your basement or your crawl space, it can become a serious problem, and one very quickly. So monitor the situation when all of this starts melting. And friends, it is time to get to USS if you find a problem. USSTN.com, that's USSTN.com. They are problem solvers, and the community in Middle Tennessee has trusted USS for well over 30 years. USSTN.com, or give them a call today, 615-488-7855, 488-7855.
Maybe I should say heat, because that is still what 148,737 NES customers in Nashville need. That is how many outages remain, but that is significantly lower than when we started today and yesterday. At the peak of the severe winter storm, there were at least 230,000 outages. Meanwhile, Middle Tennessee Electric making progress. 6,060 outages, down from a peak of around 16,000 outages. And then you've got Cumberland Electric. They're down to 14,334 outages. Now, even though we are making progress, it is still going to be slow going. The CEO and vice president of Nashville Electric Services, Brent Baker, telling WTN's Matt Murphy show, they will have 600 line crews tomorrow, but restoration is expected to last through this weekend. They had at least 800 trees downed, damaging more than 100 poles, so it is going to be a long slog in Nashville and in other areas as well. By the way, I'm looking here at Channel 4. They just sent out a breaking news alert that apparently Tennessee has established a TBI hotline to help with welfare checks in the aftermath of this winter storm. The state is encouraging you to call this number instead of local agencies in an effort to reduce call volumes for municipalities. That number is 1-800-TBI-FIND. And it is being manned from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday to report concerns and request a welfare check for your loved ones, friends, or your neighbors. In our nation's capital, Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino and some agents are expected to leave Minneapolis as soon as tomorrow. Republicans in Congress stepping up calls for accountability following Saturday's Border Patrol shooting of a man in Minneapolis. More than 24 GOP lawmakers are pushing for investigations and possible hearings. Texas Senator Ted Cruz says officials damaged their credibility by quickly branding the suspect, Alex Preddy, a terrorist. The Republican chairs of the House and Senate Homeland Security Committees want the leaders of ICE and Customs and Border Protection to testify soon. And President Trump announcing today he's sending border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota. Homan will manage ICE operations on the ground amid these protests and legal challenges to federal enforcement efforts. And this comes after 2 people were killed in federal agent-involved shootings over protests there to ICE operations in Minneapolis. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Glen Cliff got a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane. That's going to be 40 eastbound near Spence Lane. A serious crash in Sumner County, Gallatin. It has westbound Red River Road north of Long Hollow Pike closed, and emergency vehicles are on the scene. And we heard from TDOT this afternoon that interstates in Nashville, they've been able to do a pretty good job of clearing those interstates. There is at least one lane that has been cleared on each of the interstates in Nashville. However, with it getting bitterly cold tonight, there may have been a little bit of melting with the sun out today. There will be some refreeze, so take that into consideration tonight if you absolutely have to be out. I'm Ken Weaver.
A couple of updates. I almost went to the bathroom all over myself because I just got a public safety alert through my phone, and it was one of those, bah, bah, bah.
Better than the septic tank, I guess.
I guess so. Apparently, and this was the alert. 3 overnight shelters are available in Metro Nashville. Well, isn't that nice? And now I can't.
All right.
I can't get it to go up. I can't get it to get off of my phone. Ken, I love that blue and pink birdhouse you got there.
Well, how do you like that?
Isn't that nice? Well, I actually haven't seen it, but Jackson told me to tell you that I liked it. He's observing the breakfast nook at Southern Command.
Yeah, I believe my daughter made that for her mother, and I back whenever she was just a little one.
How about that? Isn't that lovely? That's nice.
Yeah,
That's a nice thing.
Yeah, all of that stuff there is my kids' art. Their arts and crafts here in Southern Command's Breakfast Nook.
I love it. I love everything about it. I wish the rest of the folks could see it, but at very least, Jackson has a good viewpoint. What do you think there, Jackson?
I think Ken's watching basketball.
No, I'm not.
And by the way, to dissuade the number of people, that was little wiener dog Fritz that committed the act of
flatulence,
of bowel aggression on the airwaves of Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There are some that are accusing you, Ken, and I just think that's beneath the dignity of this radio show.
Yes. I told Fritz he's only supposed to do that when I pull his paw. This time he decided to be a character and try to embarrass me on the air.
He went rogue.
As those little wiener dogs are apt to do. Ken,
by the way,
yeah,
Fritz, he has beat his own record. The last ice storm, Fritz went 27 hours without doing his business.
Mm-hmm.
He has now gone 28 hours.
Wow. So
little fellow will now he has done the easy one.
Uh-huh.
It's the other one we really need him to do, and that's the one he is just unwilling to do.
The old number 2.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. So he'll venture out far enough to squeeze out the number 1, but number 2's no go.
Right, but he did wait 27 hours to do 1.
Wow.
Now it's 28 hours and still no 2.
Now that is a dog that does not
and
lie.
He's chock full of food. Chock full.
you just take him out, hold on to him, and point the rear to the outside and just kind of squeeze of him. See what happens. Like soft serve.
You're disgusting.
What?
You're a sick man.
I'm a helper. I'm trying to come up with solutions. Ken's got a situation down there. He's got a full
wiener dog.
He's got a situation that I'm trying to alleviate the pressure of the full wiener dog. I mean, how are you going to? I mean, Fritz is going to want to eat. You know? Wow. Hey, Ken, do we have a couple of listeners have reminded us that we have Dixon Electric over in Hickman County?
Dixon Electric. Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh man, I am so sorry. I'm derelict.
No.
In my duty.
No, 4276 said, would you ask Ken if he wouldn't mind to check on Dixon Electric System sometime? Now, I looked them up online. The last time they posted on the X machine was 2024, so I don't think they're posting there anymore unless they've changed their account. And then I went to the website, DixonElectric.com. Yes, and I can see a lot about power reporting or power outage reporting at DES, but I've not seen it. Well, visit our outage map for real-time outage information. Well, I'm going to the outage map right now.
I'm there right now too, Brother Murphy.
Okay.
And I'm seeing at least 1, 2, 3. There's at least 3,700 right there I'm seeing. I'm going to say, just by looking at all these numbers, I'm going to say there's at least, would you say 5,000 maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at
least 5,000 outages.
1.3, 1.2, 1.2. That's 3. That's almost 4 right there. Yeah, that's a fair enough. I would go as much as 6. So we're probably dealing with 6 or 7,000 people who are out of power in Dixon. So I'm certain that organization is working diligently to get your power back on as well.
Derelict in my duty.
No. I mean, I had forgotten about it as well, but that's a fair amount. That's going to add up to at least 6 or 7,000 people. So customers, not people. I always do that.
Right, customers. Yes.
Customers meaning households. So you can go to, if you have the ability to get on your phone, you can go to DixonElectric.com, click outage, and they have an outage map there to alert folks to who is out, and I'm certain that they're working hard on that. I'm working hard to get back to the telephones, and we're going to do it right now. Mike has called in from Old Hickory, and he will not be on air with us. He is, what is he, mad because I said he was stupid?
You said he was the stupidest person on the face of the earth. End quote.
That doesn't sound like me.
Yes, it does.
I don't know. I don't think that. Ken, you think that sounds like me?
I just do the news, boys. Yeah.
Mike, you said you advised people in these extreme conditions, if they have a septic tank, to not drip water in their sink to prevent their pipes from freezing, because you said that the water would go into the septic tank and freeze in the tank and explode. And meanwhile, people are flushing their commodes, and where do you think that fluid goes? There's already fluid in the tank, Mike. What do you think happens with that? So I think it's a fair analysis to say when someone is ignorant, that means that they perhaps do not have information or knowledge or have not done the appropriate research or have been misinformed in the past about a set of circumstances, facts, or criteria. That is called being ignorant. You can help people who are ignorant. You cannot fix stupid.
Maybe he thinks, some of that illumination that you and Dan Thomas talk about, where the stuff dissipates.
It's sublimation.
Yeah, same thing.
It's not illumination. It's not like luminescence, like it's glowing. It's sublimation.
Well, that's a doctor problem.
Yeah, more often than not. Patty's got advice, and Robert wants to talk about entertainment. Well, I don't know who came first, so I'm going to go with Miss Patty. Hey, Patty, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm sorry to keep you holding for so long, but thank you for doing so.
Yeah, I think you gave Mike the nincompoop too much airtime.
Yeah, probably so.
One of the things, the septics don't freeze. Second, the reason I called was we're on Hunter's Lane between Dickerson and Brick Church Pike, and we have trees down where there's an emergency. Nobody can get through, not even the fire trucks or ambulances. Of course, we've been without power since Sunday morning around 7 o'clock. And so that was the one issue that they need to address. We can't get a hold of NES. We don't know who's going to do that. The other thing is you keep talking about these backup plan warming centers. Not everybody can get out. Our cars are only useful as a 5,000-pound phone charger. That's all we can use it for.
Right.
We can't get out. We can't get on the street. The street's got trees down the road, in the street, all the way across. And they talk about all these warming shelters, and not just me, but people who may not even have a car. How do they get to these warming shelters? They don't offer any type of assistance. I mean, fine if you can walk there, but it doesn't do anybody any good.
The mayor did indicate, and I've not received this information as of yet, but the mayor, Freddie O'Connell, on our show earlier today indicated that they would be offering ride assistance at some point this afternoon. That provide details on that. So I'll try to find that and make people aware of that if they don't have an ability to get out. Apparently the city was trying to provide that ability.
Right. And then the other thing is, and I've seen several people on Facebook say this, that there's no updates on what neighborhoods they're in. So you have no idea. Now, we're probably going to be at the end of the list because they haven't even cleared the roads yet. But we're not a real dense section on Hunter's Lane. We're, 1, 2, 3, 4 acre lots. So we've been out without power. I understand they got to get the people that are in all the apartment buildings and Green Hills because they have money. But, it'd be nice if they kind of give people an idea. We're in this general facility, so we could kind of, and several people have said that, they would like to know what their plan is. Are they like moving from one street to another street or one area to another area? And people could kind of plan if they're going to have food for the next few days until the weekend, or are they going to be okay in the next couple days?
I have some information on a number you can call, ma'am, if you are in need of transportation. This is from Metro today that said if you or someone needs transportation to a local shelter, Mobility Solutions is providing support.
There we go.
And you can reach them if you have a pen handy or something handy. I can give you this phone number.
Yeah, well, I'm calling for everybody.
Okay, well, yeah, just throw it out there,
everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody get their pens or pencils or whatever ready. But the number that they have listed is 615-844-3399. 615-844-3399.
And I didn't have my pen ready. Could one more time?
615-844-3399. Got it. Thank you. Great call, Patty, and thank you, Ken, for that information. And yes, it's much needed advice. 4184, I've got somebody for you. Renee from the chat, I need your telephone number. I don't know if you've left it over on the chat side, but if you are still listening or watching the show, Renee from the chat said that she is elderly with another person and has a number of dogs in the Jolton area, and I'm trying to get information about her telephone number. Has she provided the number on the chat? I can't look through it all, y'all, so I'm going to need to crowdsource this thing. If she has provided the number on the chat, somebody text it to me in the text feature, because I have someone that is a firefighter in Robertson County that is willing to help out in Jolton if need be. Now, this firefighter originally responded to Mike. We got Mike some help. Mike's getting firewood tomorrow morning, getting water tomorrow morning. We need to help. We need to help Renee, and Renee has another elderly person in the home with her, and they're worried about running out of gas. They have a generator. So they're doing okay in terms of heat, but they're concerned that they're about to run out of gas, and they do not have any ability to get any more gas. And yes, to your point, 4184, in the same area, in the Jolton area is all I know right now. But I'm going to get you some more information and try to help Renee out as well. I just need to get a phone number for Renee. If anybody's in the chat, hit Renee up, and if we can get that, I can make that love connection, if you will. Don is with NES, or Don is calling about NES. Don, thank you for the call. How are you? Hey, Don. Donnie. All right, hold on, Don. I'll try to get back to you. Robert is in Laredo. Robert, thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Go right ahead, sir.
Hey, I'm one of the few people that has no problem holding it. Military taught me anything how to hold.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
I've got good news and I've got bad news. Which do you want first?
Let's go with the bad news first.
From Highway 64 along 43 all the way down to Green Hill, Alabama, all the Dollar Generals are closed. And the ones I went to before they closed at 5 o'clock, hardly no milk and bread at all, period, on all of them.
Oh, no. Well, that's not good news. But I think you have some good news coming.
Yeah. Well, it's probably just good news for you.
Okay.
Highway 43 seems to be very clear and very accessible right now. I've been up and down it for a couple hours since I called in, and I hadn't had any problems. There hasn't been any major issues or anything. It's really good and clear, so you should be able to make it home safely tonight.
No, that is great news, and it was pretty clean when I came up earlier today. You know, these major thoroughfares where there's been a lot of traffic, it's kind of burned off a lot of that moisture, and that's going to be okay. The fear is wherever there is moisture, the sunshine was kind of keeping it wet on the roadways. Well, the sunshine is gone, and so now it's obviously going to refreeze. And that can cause that black ice in those slick spots. But so you're saying that the Dollar General's closed at 5?
Yeah, I think the one on north end of Loretto, Tennessee was open till 6 p.m., but I checked all the others, and each one I stopped in right before 5 o'clock, all of them had closing at 5 signs taped to the door, and each one I went into, there was no milk at all in the milk section. Well, maybe a couple half gallons of chocolate milk, and then all the bread shelves are practically empty.
Absolutely love the info, Robert. Thank you for providing it. I would expect and I would hope that most in our audience and really most in our area, they have battened down the hatches, as they say, until tomorrow morning when the sun comes back up. Tomorrow is a better day because while it is getting down bitterly cold tonight, tomorrow it's expected to get above freezing. That's great news. So we're going to see the right side of this once the sun starts shining tomorrow. We got to get through the night, and for the most part, I hope that many of you have already gotten to where you need to be. You've gotten warm as well as you can, and you have buttoned it down for the night. Now, we have not gotten a phone number for Renee yet. I'm looking for that, so I'm looking out for Renee. I've got an address, but I'm trying to get a phone number so I can create a connection between Renee and some folks that want to help them on this super text line. 615-737-9986. We'll try to get Don here in just a moment. Mike in Old Hickory is still holding, and he will hold until February the 15th on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, friends, whether it's a water softener, specialized filters, UV lights, you name it, Better Water is the company that I recommend and the one that you can go to for all of these things. To remove sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, E. coli, just anything and everything that might cause negative impact to you and your family, Better Water handles it. It's like a big Brita filter for your house. It removes all of those nasties. It's scalable from under the sink to entire house applications. I'm doing this for the new home in Mount Pleasant. I'm getting a Better Water home application. Very excited about it. These are the same guys that treat the coffee shop where you get that delicious cup of joe. These are the same guys that treat the hospitals that you go to. I mean, so they're doing right by your water. BetterWater.com for more information. That's BetterWater.com. They're celebrating 55 years of service as a 2-generation family business in Middle Tennessee, and we're proud to have them. Give them a call at 615-355-6063, 355-6063. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy. And, it can be hard to find someone that you can trust and someone that understands the idea of community when it comes to heating and air conditioning. A lot of these large companies, you're a customer number, an ID number. You're not a name. Well, Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, they understand how to help. Jeff Eddy helped me, as a matter of fact. I sadly had a little issue with my large heating unit in my home when we moved in, but they got us going. It is not exactly right just yet. Roger got it fixed so that we can get through these cold conditions, though, long enough to try to diagnose a longer range and longer term solution without having to replace the entire unit, which is what the goal is, right? So Efficient Heating and Cooling can do that for you as well. Just write this number down, and if the heat goes out and you need them, they'll be there as quickly as possible. And obviously, service has been delayed in some areas because of the large amounts of ice on the roadways, but they're going to get out to you, know this, as quickly as humanly possible. Jeff Eddy and his team believe in it. They believe in the communities that they serve, and they're going to help you as best they can. 615-784-4424, an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. 615-784-4424, or online at efficienthvac.net.
We'll give you the very latest on the power outages and the efforts to restore everyone's heat. Also, state officials have opened a 1-800 number to help with welfare checks in the wake of the winter storm. We'll share that with you and more coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A couple of updates before we get back to telephone calls. Nick Barris of News Channel 5 posted something, and it actually makes sense. Frankie Gray is the sheriff of Stewart County, Tennessee. And Frankie Gray posted, and it was reposted by Nick Barris. I'll relate it to you. The roads are very dangerous and will not improve significantly over the next few days. The sheriff is extending a prescription medicine pickup and delivery service for senior citizens and individuals with disabilities in Stewart County, Tennessee. They've now expanded pickup to include anyone who has or needs prescriptions ready for pickup. If you're in need of this service, contact the pharmacy. They will notify the sheriff's office, and the sheriff's office will offer you delivery in Stewart County. Obviously, this is great. I mean, it's great that they do that regularly for those with disability or those who are seniors in their community, but now they've extended it to everyone. And that's great news, and maybe some other police departments or sheriff's departments will pick up on that. Speaking of, I also have another notice. Hold on a second. I got this in that the Office of Emergency Management, in partnership with Metro Nashville Departments, has launched a hotline for residents who need assistance traveling to one of their designated warming locations. So Patty has written in, or Patty called in and said, hey, what about people who can't get there? If you are in need of transportation, now Ken just gave you that first number for mobility services, and I might be saying that wrong, but the number is 615-844-3399. But if you don't get anyone there, Office of Emergency Management, 615-401-1712. 615-401-1712. You provide your name, your current location, the number of people needing transport, any special needs or mobility concerns, and if you have pets, and they will offer you transportation to a warming station as well. So thank you for that information. Still looking for Renee. She said she was in a double wide. She's in a trailer, and she has a generator, and she has 4 pets and another person with her, and she's in the need of gas, and she has left the chat. So I'm trying to track her down, and we'll do our best to figure that out. 32 after the hour. Do I have to go to news right now? I have to go to news right now. I forgot where I was. Jackson's keeping us on track on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes, and progress continues to be made on the power outages. Now, NES says it is still trying to restore power to 146,482 customers, down from 230,000 at the peak of the winter storm. Middle Tennessee Electric still has 6,366 outages to go. The vast majority of those are along and west of 65 there in Williamson County. Cumberland Electric has 14,217 outages to go. And checking Dixon Electric, they have roughly 5,000 outages that they are still working to restore. State officials have opened a Tennessee Bureau of Investigation hotline to help with welfare checks in the wake of the winter storm. It is 1-800-TBI-FIND. 1-800-TBI-FIND from 8 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the evening weekdays to report concerns and request a welfare check. Now, they want you to call this number rather than your local agency in an effort to reduce call volumes for municipalities. Now, this does not apply to Davidson County, the 1-800-TBI-FIND. Instead, Davidson County residents should be submitting online at Hub Nashville or dial 311. Multiple warming shelters are open. We're going to get bitter cold tonight, again tomorrow and tomorrow night. So multiple warming shelters are open, including Nashville's rescue mission sites that offer beds, meals, and showers. Fire stations in Nashville and most police precincts are also available for temporary warming, but they do not offer overnight stays. Now, if you or someone needs transportation to a local shelter, Mobility Solutions is providing support while WeGo buses are not operating. You can reach them by calling 615-844-3399 or the number that Brother Murphy just gave you, the Office of Emergency Management, 615-401-1712. 615-401-1712 if you need a ride to a warming shelter. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Interstates today, TDOT says they were able to clear the majority of the interstates in Nashville today. The rural areas, not so much, but in Nashville, there is at least one lane on each interstate that is clear. They were beginning to work on the secondary and third tier roads as well. Now, in Gallatin, we still have westbound Red River Road north of Long Hollow Pike blocked for a crash. And in Columbia, we've got blocked due to storm damage. Carter's Creek Pike blocked between Les Robinson Road and Nashville Highway. I'm Ken Weaver.
All right, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and I want to thank our buddies at Savory Spice for helping us bring you the programming that we've done for today. Although I would suggest this, all the good things are the responsibility of Savory Spice. All of the bad things, those are totally Jackson Williams' responsibility. Yeah, so Savory Spice, good. Jackson, bad. In all seriousness, Savory Spice, I hope you took me up on the idea of getting some delicious Spice and Easy crock pot items from Savory Spice because they are so good. You put them up in the crock pot, they make the house smell delicious, and they taste Delicious. Savory Spices got all of it for you. Now, I know you're probably doing a lot of cooking during the storms, probably doing a lot of cooking in the aftermath while you sit and wait for the ice to melt. And maybe you need to repair some of those spices that you've used in the kitchen during this time of respite and solace in your homes. Well, get to Franklin, Tennessee when the ice melts and get over to Savory Spice and tell them thank you for being such great sponsors of the Matt Murphy Show, and thank you for doing what they do in their community. You'll smell it before you see it at Savory Spice. Go in and see Holly, David, and the rest of the team at the one and only Savory Spice. You up the spice game, or rather, you up the food game by upping your spice game, and you up the spice game at Savory Spice. I blame that on you. That's your fault. I blame that all on you. All on you. All on you. Are you happy with yourself?
Oh, I'm happier than I've ever been.
Are you happy with yourself?
Oh, I wish I would have gotten that on video.
Good gracious. So, hello. Welcome back. Hope everybody's safe and sound. We're trying to get some help to those who need it. If you need any help, hit us up on the Super Text chat and we'll do what we can. 615-737-9986. So, that's probably Mike.
Oh, it's Dev. That's why I'm just letting it ring, brother.
So, Mike from Old Hickory has banned himself from the show until February, I guess it will be 16th. Because the 15th is a Sunday, and he's banned until then. He was banned until February, and then that it got extended because he said that we would have no ice, right? That's what he said last week, that we wouldn't have any ice, and so we extended it. And he called today and spoke to Jackson and told Jackson that he had a very, very serious thing that he wanted to talk to me about off the air. And he said to me off the air that if you have a septic tank, which, by the way, I had a septic tank in Birmingham, Alabama for 14 years. and it got down below freezing during that time that I had that septic tank. Anyway, Mike said, without belaboring it, that don't let the water drip don't let the sink water drip. We're told to drip the water to keep the pipes moving so that the pipes don't freeze. So keep water flow moving. Well, that water goes into your septic tank, as does all the water that goes out of your home. And then it drains through the drain lines. So Mike said, do not drip your faucets if you have a septic, because the septic tank will, and I'm quoting him now, explode. So we went on the radio and made fun of Mike because that's just stupid. And Mike called back and demanded to talk to me, and so I talked to him off the air just moments ago. Now, how would you describe my end of that conversation, Jackson?
It ended with you going, "Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! You're a click."
I think I said moron at least once or twice. I started by saying, Mike, it doesn't make any sense what you're saying, because you flush the toilet when it's really, really cold outside. You take showers when it's really, really cold outside. The water that you're dripping into your sink from your faucet is going to the same place that the water that you flush the toilet in. And he said, no. He said, no, that's different. No, that's different. That's different. And I said, Mike, you're just wrong. It's okay if you're wrong. And Mike got all mad at me, and I was like, Mike, this is just me and you talking. It's okay. Just, I'm trying to help you. And then he started screaming and yelling at me, and that's when I told him to shut up, and hung up on him.
I wish the listeners could have heard that. It was so much fun.
You got a hoot. It was a hoot for you.
You were so mad walking out of here.
I just don't. Well, I'm not mad. I just don't understand. I don't understand him. I don't.
You were shaking your head.
Danny is next up. Hello, Danny. Hope you're well.
Hey, evening, sir. Yeah, we're doing fine. I hope everybody hangs in there.
Yes, sir.
I mainly just wanted to call in. I don't want anybody that tried to prepare or thought it wouldn't be this bad to feel too bad about themselves if they fell short. Because Mother Nature always throws something at us that we didn't plan for. I could share a couple. I'm already on my second or third backup plan, and I'll probably go through more backup plans before it warms up. So, so if anybody thinks, well, I should have done this, I should have done that, don't beat yourself up too bad. Just deal with what you're dealing with right now and get through it. And like, man, don't get in fights with your spouse or your family or stuff. Just work through it.
That's right.
It's a rough go. Yeah, that's mainly what I want to say.
Yeah.
And I can tell you a funny story about it. Like, I got real quick.
Yeah.
I got I'm backed up for heat, right? I've got my wood stove in here. I've had it for years, and I can use it. I got firewood in 3 different locations in case, some in a shed and some over by this other place where there's a tree at, and so on and so forth, in case I can't access one or the other. And that's all good. Plus, I got propane backup heat if the power goes out. And then I got 3 dogs in case it gets cold. We can all get under a blanket and have a 3-dog night, But that's where that phrase came from.
I know. I love it. I love that you know that. I love that you know that, Daddy. That's very good.
But old school, that's where it comes from. Yeah. So here's a funny story for you. So I'm set. I'm good. And I even got a well out here. I got city water, but I've got a well with a manual well pump. I put a bucket over it so my well handle doesn't get froze up or nothing. So I'll have water, I'm good. Got provisions and all. So my firewood pile, my main firewood pile, the roof caves in on it. So I go out there and I look at it. It's like, all right, well, I could deal with this. And I got me a little way to get in there and dig out the firewood from both sides of it the way I figured out to do it. And I might have to leave a couple pieces there if I get that far into it, to support the heavy ice and heavy roof that's leaning on that part. But I'm good. Another pile. Well, there's big tree limbs on there. Well, I can get that. I can work past that. No worries, right? So I've got plenty of firewood, I think, and now I'm not going to have to worry about running out of firewood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. Right, well, this whole, honestly, I've had this installed for a few years. I got the supports on the chimney and all that stuff, and friggin' the whole roof, it's a peak at the roof, so that whole half of the house, all decided with all that ice and all that snow, decided to slide down all at once. I wasn't even using my wood stove yet.
Oh, did it slide down on
it? It all
wood?
slid down, and it broke around my chimney, bent my chimney.
Oh, no, man.
Made how you got your shields and stuff around the chimney where it goes through. Made a big old hole in the roof.
No.
Hold the supports up. Well, doggone it. I had a plan in case I need to use the wood stove. So, I mean, it's my point, it's all good. I make do. It's all good. And I go sit in the vehicle as long as the tree don't fall out and crush on it, But we'll get by. So my point is, it's all part of life. I'll fix it. I'll build it up beefier. We'll build it back stronger than it was before. But don't let nobody beat themselves up about this.
No. Listen, you do what you can. You do the best you can, and you make do with what you got. And Danny, it sounds like you've got a great attitude about it. That's one thing that'll take you a long way.
Yeah, I hope everybody else catches on to that. Don't get too mad at yourself. So, all right, have a best evening.
Amen. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the call. 615-737-9986. 3438 writes in and says, I listen to 99.7 FM from 5:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, except when Matt lets Mike on the air. Wow.
Oh, I have an update.
Please don't ever let him back on the air. I can't stand his BS. Jackson has a Mike from Old Hickory update.
You're spreading lies and God knows it, is what I was told.
Okay. Very good. Excellent. Thank you. 615-737-9986. If you need to get information in, let's do it now. I think I've got a line on Renee, and I hope to be able to report some good things for you in just a second. So I'm going to do that, take a quick time out, be back in a moment, and we'll wrap things up for the evening. And Jackson and I will try to make our way slowly but surely on to the house. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy. Let me tell you for a moment about the incredible Glock store, the incomparable Glock store. Glock store has every Glock in stock, and obviously, they're going to be on top of the new Gen 6 models, the ones with the new optic system, RTF 6 texturing, the enlarged beaver tail, flat face trigger, the trigger guard, undercut. It's all there at the Glock store, but here's what you need to know. These are such an improvement. These Gen 6s are so popular that they're being pre-ordered and being bought before they're actually getting into the store. So the 17s and 19s and 45s, the first shipment is already come and gone. But as a thank you for your pre-order for the next shipment, number one, you can test drive before you buy. You can see exactly the difference in the Gen 6 by going to the rental department and utilizing one of their shooting rooms. Number two, when you pre-order, all you do is mention my name, Matt Murphy, and you'll get a free extra magazine when you pick up your Gen 6 clock. How about that? A free extra magazine just for mentioning my name and being a loyal customer to the Glock store. I love everything about it. Go to the Glock store, minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. It's the one and only Glock store. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You know, not only are they solving pain issues by the truckload, I mean yours and mine and everyone else's within the sound of my voice at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, they're also bringing in the brand new technologies that keep them in front of the rest of the guys when it comes to pain relief for you, without having to worry about needles, without having to pop pills all the time, and without having to consider surgery. That's what it's all about. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley now have the brand new HydroWave technology in their shop. They're the first and only office in the state of Tennessee to have this. It stimulates your own stem cells in your body to regenerate tissues, to grow new blood vessels, to heal through a process called angiogenesis. Friends, bottom line, it works, and you don't have to worry about needles. You don't have to worry about pills. You don't have to worry about surgeries. You can live a pain-free life in 2026. Let's get the process started. By the way, 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression, or decompression generally speaking, for the new year. 47% off. That's just about half off, if I do my math correctly. Call the Wellness Institute of Nashville today at 615-246-5009, 246-5009, or online at painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com for the Wellness Institute of Nashville.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're wrapping up what has been an incredibly fast-paced and lively show, obviously focusing, for the most part, on the nasty weather conditions and the result of a lot of the storm that moved through over the course of the weekend. Several of you still without power. I mean, I say several. Many of you still without power. As of my last count, it was about 150,000 customers are still without power. That's just NES customers. You add the Dixon customers, the MTE customers, and then, you know, you're probably approaching some 200,000 or so. I know that they're working diligently to repair all of that, working diligently to get you back up and running again. If you have power, be thankful that you do. If you do not have power, just know that there are people that are thinking about you. And if you need help, we're here for you. We're attempting to help several people from the Super Text line. A couple of folks asked that I not bring it up on air, and so I'm doing that in the back channels. And I'm also trying to connect Renee with a firefighter friend over in Robertson County who says, our firefighter friend said, hey, you know, in Jolton, I can help somebody out if they need it. And I think I have secured, so 4184, I think I've secured a telephone number. I'm going to check that number to make sure it's our Renee. And if given permission, I'm going to get that number to you. And then we've made that love connection. And I'm just the guy making the connection. What I'm thankful for is that we have incredible listeners, like our firefighter buddy in Robertson County that says, look, all I need is a phone number and an address, and I will get that person some help. I will get some gasoline to them so their generator doesn't go off tonight. You need that for your heat. So we're doing that. And, you know, and yes, I was the winner of Nincompoop. Well, Mike from Old Hickory was the winner of Nincompoops in the News. The first time that we've had a caller to the radio show win our very, very popular Nincompoops in the News segment. Congratulations to Mike. You are a first, buddy. And that's pretty good. 1838. I don't know if Weaver's still listening. Probably not. But 1838 has written in and says, hey, you feed that little wiener dog some dry cat food, he'll go to the bathroom then, if he makes the door first. Well, okay. That's fair, I suppose, if you're looking for the little wiener dog to go to the bathroom, but it's probably going to make that farting issue a little bit worse. If I know anything about my wiener dogs, and I think I do. Jackson, great work by you. Congratulations. Well done getting in here. We'll do it all again tomorrow, starting at 3 o'clock. Thank you to Ken Weaver from back at Southern Command in Murfreesboro for providing the news headlines. Hopefully, you'll get power back sooner rather than later. If you need any help, we'll be here for you bright and early at 5 a.m. Dan Mandis in Nashville's Morning News. Obviously, Chris Hand from Southern Command in Murfreesboro as well. And then Chad Benson and myself right here in studio at the dead end of Music Row. We ask that you take care, be warm as you can, and I just reiterate this to you. In these times, let us not wait for government. Let us not wait for the man to come around. And obviously, they're going to have to come around to help with electrical power repair, whatever it might be. Let's help our own neighbors. Let's try to help those who we live around, those that we love, our friends, our neighbors, our community groups. If you're part of a church, check on your churchgoers and just love one another. Give yourselves hugs. Hug your loved ones, as I like to say. We'll be back tomorrow and do it all again at 3 o'clock. Until then, stay warm. So long, everybody.